Yeah, let's get it on. What's good, everybody? How is your day today? Mine was fine, so I'm gonna say good day to everybody. And when I say good day to you, make sure I receive that same beautiful love back and say good day. Let's keep it moving. What's up, young? How you doing, sir? Hope you're doing well today. Appreciate you. Man, Trump don't stop. He do not stop. He loves to do stuff. He be doing it. That's for sure. He be doing it. I don't even know what to think about it no more. At this point, it's kind of wild. It's kind of crazy. But, that's what we cover here. We cover wild stuff. I mean, we are the wildest show. So it makes only sense that we do cover these type of things. I just got a few more things I need to write. Okay. Finish writing up my description. And you know how we like to do. We don't like to waste nobody's time. We like to get directly into these things. Let's start the conversation right away. Because I heard it's been a whole week. I heard it's been a whole full week without no deletions out there in DC. So is the juice worth the squeeze? That is the question. I mean, the real reason is most likely is because nobody is going outside. So, yeah. So the crime went down dramatically because everybody is scared to go outside. I guess that's a good thing. I'm not sure. I guess harassing everybody and saying, hey, running down on every racial profile that you can. Hey, if they look like this, if they sound like that, if they live over here, if they get off this bus stop, if they get off at this train station, you go ahead and you pull up on them. I guess it's working. It's making people so nervous to go outside that it hasn't been any crime in a week. So the thing is, are you going to be able to maintain that? I think that it worked in a sense. You put enough police out there, you harass enough people, yes, you're going to get some results. How long are you going to maintain these results? Because once you take the National Guard away, what's going to happen then? Is everything going to go right back to square one? Everybody going to be is this going to be an overcorrection for your overcorrection? Because that's what it really is. Calling out the National Guard to get deletions down to zero is a overstep, in my opinion. I thought, I wouldn't want that much government in my city. I think that's a little too far. However, it looked like it's working. So I'm assuming that we should, all those ladies and all those people that's in unemployment, maybe you should go start filing for a job right now in the National Guard, because clearly the National Guard is going to take over the police work in America. You feel what I'm saying, Reese? The National Guard now is going to be the new version of policing. It is going to be no more. This is what I'll see. Makes sense, right? There ain't going to be no more state police. It's going to be United States of America police. The nibs are mad. What's a nibs? What's a nib? What's a nibs hoops conservative? Good day, Black Beauty. So that's how I see it. If this trend continues to go how it is, you bring the National Guards in, and now it is zero deletions in that city. You're gonna have to maintain that. And then, so what is the purpose of each state police? Now you don't need no city police. You don't need no state police. You need America's police. And America's police is the National Guard, or whatever they're gonna reframe it. Just like how he turned a new, what do you call it? Space Force. I guess he's gonna call it the America Force. Instead of the police force, it's going to be the American force. He's going to have America's police. It's going to be one police. Ain't no more state by state. Ain't no more city by city. All those religious people they probably done as well. He gonna say no, that's it. Ain't no religious police. It's only police. America police. But it did clean up the streets for the week so far. It kind of reminded me of that episode on The Wire, where it seemed like everything was all good. You remember The Wire? Where everything was all good? He said, hey, you could do all the crime on this block right here. Whatever you do over there, it is all good. And he cleaned up the streets. I was in Baltimore. Speaking of Baltimore, it seems like the mayor and Donald Trump is going back and forth a little bit. Imperious is crazy. It seems like the mayor over there in B-Mall, I believe is the mayor from Baltimore. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. It might not be the mayor from Baltimore. It could be the mayor from the state. I'm not sure. But the city of Baltimore, for sure, one of the mayors over there was having a conversation to say, hey, Trump, you need to come and walk the streets with me because you are saying how dangerous it is. And the mayor is saying, like, it is not as dangerous. Hood Conservative says no homies for 11 days and counting, which should be something that we should celebrate. So shout out to the plan to keep everybody in the house and have the National Guard harass everybody because it worked for something. It damn sure worked for something. For the past 11 days, it worked for something. However, are you going to maintain that? Do we want just one government police, America's police? Is that what you want, Hood Service? What is your thoughts on that? Do we want just a one government police? What up, JR Boxing? Do we want a one government police? Ain't no more NYPD. None of that. It's just APD, America Police Department. Running through the whole 50 states with guns, bombs, M16s in every goddamn state. APD, America Police Department. Sounds good? I better trademark it. Oh, man, never know. I better trademark that. Because now with it being that it's been 11 days, where's that Federalists? The police, local police are too corrupt anyways. I look at it like this. I think it is a slippery slope when you start infringing on people's rights, as even though it may have looked like it's working in the short term, I don't know how that's going to work out for the long term. So that's the only thing I'm nervous about. I'm nervous about violating people's constitutional rights and what they are supposed to do and what they're not supposed to do. I'm also a little nervous about adding all this extra government. I think that is a little nerve-wracking. And then now he want to just send it over to Chi-Town. For conservatives, he says the community policing is a failed Negro experiment. Have to undo the entire Black Lives Matter era. So the Black Lives Matter era was not anything to necessarily do with police, but it was about getting justice and making sure we are not targeted in a certain light, and like our lives matter. Meaning that you cannot just kill us dead on the street. You feel what I'm saying, Chakra Love? It was so that we won't just get killed dead in the street. Like we cannot have somebody just put their knee on another man's neck for 10 minutes or however long it was. That's insane. It's a very long time. And Period says rights are abstract and are embedded and flown. No right. It's absolute. We got to remember all rights are evaluated under a time, place, and manner restriction. Fair, but as of right now, the constitutional right says that police ain't supposed to be harassing no goddamn body. That's the only thing that's kind of scaring me about the whole situation. And fair enough for everybody that has the argument that he cleaned the streets up for 11 days. That is a fair argument. I don't know if the people in the city is really that excited about what is going on. I'm pretty sure people are going to start bucking back because America's justice system is just like your grandma's old Buick. You know what I'm saying? The American justice system is just like your grandma's old Buick. It still runs, but only if you kick it in the right spot and pray to the ancestors. Y'all know when things break down in our community, we just kick it. That's how we get things to start moving in the right direction. Well, now Trump has a knee on the whole city of DC. Wow. Damn. That's crazy, hood conservative. Damn. That's crazy. You say nobody cares about a Ben Franklin quote. That's insane that a lot of people are willing to give up their constitutional rights, whatever that is, even though Paris is making some greater point. You know, like it depends on the time, the place, you know, the era. Each era had their own different situations. That is understandable. But I think at this point, if he takes the National Guard to Chicago and the same thing happens, shout out to Byron Turner. If this same thing happens, he takes the National Guard over to Chi-Town and the same thing happens. He's already saying that we got all the blacks over there wearing red hats. We have the ladies wearing red hats. They are begging for Donald Trump to come over there. This is what this man is saying. I don't know if that's true. I don't know. I don't know if Chicago is begging for Donald Trump to come over there and save Chicago. Make sure y'all hit that like for the YouTube algorithm. I appreciate it. So, but that's the thing, Imperius. I believe if he does this with another city, if somehow he figures out a way where he could push the National Guard in Chicago and call it a state of emergency, and it cleans it up for the next 11 days, like how it did in DC, I think America Police Department is going to be a real thing. And I don't know if I like that. That's an interesting flip of things. You know what I'm saying? And I agree with JR Boxing. The National Guard as a show of force is probably not sustainable. But it makes for a good talking point that you cleaned up the city by adding the National Guards. But how long can the National Guards be there? How long this is going to happen? As soon as they leave and everything's going to be back to normal, people back outside the way how they normally are, is things going to get back to normal? Maybe he just hold it off until the winter comes, when there's less people outside. And you know what I'm saying? Hold the National Guard there until the winter comes. I don't know, Genesis. I have no idea how he's going to do this and how he's going to continue to add the National Guard in every major crime-filled city. Conservative says just declare a state of emergency in a sanctuary city because they've been overrun with illegals. Theoretically, it's possible. It is. I agree. Theoretically, that makes sense. But I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I like it. I don't know. I like that Trump is back with an executive order, like he's dropping mixtapes. This time he's coming for cashless bails. Now, if you don't know what cash bail is, let's try to bring it down. It's like I don't know, monopoly money for freedom. You get arrested, and if you got the cash, you go home. If you don't, you sit in jail like it's a goddamn Motel 6 with bars. And for weeks, months, decades, whatever it takes for you to get on trial and then beat your case or whatever the case may be is. And poor folks, especially the black and brown folks, they've been stuck in jail for petty stuff. Stealing a sandwich, loitering, unpaid parking tickets. Meanwhile, rich folks, they'll go and, do some of the biggest crimes out there. And they keep on flying private jet because they got the money to. This is what Imperials was just talking about. You got to have the money to be able to do the damn crime, HT. HT Bullhorn, you got to have the money to do the damn crime. Imperial said cashless ballistics. Imperial says no need for cashless. So the whole reason why something like the bail situation got to the point that it is, because like I was just saying, people can get arrested for some petty shit, petty things, and then they wind up being in jail for months on end. It was a young man in New York City. He wound up getting arrested. He couldn't get out. He wound up spending a year in jail, I think it was, somewhere, but it was definitely over months, closer to a year in jail. And he wound up getting bullied and beat up in jail until he wound up passing away because of, people doing him dirty in jail. And the man didn't even do a crime. But he didn't have enough money to bail himself out, Corinne. And he wound up dying. And then that's when New York said, hey, there's something wrong here. But maybe they went a little too extreme. I think if you're going to do the cashless bail, it got to have a limit on that as well. Maybe your first time, all right. As long as you didn't kill nobody, all right. But people that are deleting people, you can't let that person just back out in the street. I'm sorry. We're going to have to figure that out while you're in jail if you can't bail yourself out. It can't be two extremes. It needs to have some kind of a baseline of what's really going on. It's a little bit too wild for the cities that just allow people to just do whatever they want. Thank you, Genesis. I appreciate that. So I'm curious. I think I might agree with that a little bit. Cashless for non-violent is fine, but property or violence, man, that's a tough one. And the violence one is a little bit tough as well. Property might be a little tough as well because there's a lot of things that can happen when you can get into a fight and now you locked up for a violent crime. Something can happen and it's written up as a way that you damage some property and it might have been accidents or something of that nature. There's a lot of things about that. However, I'm more leaning towards if it's non-violent, you can let that person out. Anything with violence, you gotta be able to find. You can't just allow the wolves to be back out in the street. There's way too many wolves just going back out in the street. They're like, what? And then they do it again. You let them out again? Nah, it's something wrong with that. So it definitely needs something to be done. Something needs to be done. Because cities like New York, LA, Chicago, they started to say, yo, this ain't right. And they was correct, but they went a little too far. They introduced cashless bail. You get arrested, they look at your record, your risk, and if you ain't a danger, you go home. Revolutionary, right? The problem is they went a little too extreme. They was acting like everybody was still undangerous. That's the real issue. Like, no, it was some dangerous ass people that they was letting back out for the second and third and the fourth time for the same goddamn crime. That's a problem. You have to do something about that. You can't keep allowing the people that's terrorizing the neighborhoods back out. That's a fucking problem. So it needs to have some kind of goddamn balance. Over expired tags. But Trump said, hold up. This is why crime is up. He blamed Cassius Bell for everything short of global warming, goddamn it. Everything. So what he did was he signed that goddamn executive order to shut it down. And said if cities don't comply, they will lose federal funding. That boy do not play with throwing his power around. But at the same time, this is like your boss saying, if you don't wear a tie, I'm docking your pay. If you work, even if you work at Foot Locker, you better put that damn tie on. Nobody playing with your ass. But the issue is that crime is not just about the bell. It's about poverty. It's about education. Mental health is about opportunity. It's about a bunch of those things. And this is why it's a very difficult thing that we cannot just attack it with two different versions of extreme. You cannot fix the crime by locking up broke people faster. You cannot fix a goddamn leaky faucet by burning the goddamn house down. It's freaking crazy. What up, Haitian? I feel you, HT. He gonna try to figure out a way to do something. He gonna make things difficult. Yeah, I agree, Paris. I think Donald Trump is attacking it a little. He's simplifying it too much, which sometimes that is good, but I think for this situation, it's not. I don't think you can meet an extreme with an extreme. I think you got to slowly roll it back so you can actually have something that you can implement for a long time. Because the extreme of the National Guard, we know he ain't gonna. Most likely, he's not gonna be able to maintain the National Guard for that long. And then what's gonna happen? It's gonna look good for the meantime, though. I give him that. What about Kalmir Abrego? What about that joint? That man's story is like a goddamn Netflix doc waiting to happen. I mean, the man is from El Salvador. He came to the U.S. as a kid, grew up in Maryland, no criminal record, got a job, paid taxes, raised a family. But I said, nah. Something about how, I don't know about those tats. I don't know what was something about. I smell something. I don't know. You smell like Corona. You look like trouble. So they deported him wrongfully. Then a judge said, bring him back. So they did. But now they trying to deport him again. They are trying to deport that man again. So where do you think they are trying to? Let me see. So what's up, LA Project? Good day to you. LA Project, where do you think they are trying to deport this man for the second time? They try to deport him back to his country. That didn't work because he's supposed to be a United citizen. But now they try to deport him again. Can somebody in the chat please guess where they are? If you know, tell me where they are trying to deport this man now, because they can't deport him back to the country he came from, clearly. So where are they going to deport the man? How? Imperious, please. You know what, Imperious? I need you to explain to me how is he going to Uganda? Cyber Dream, how they going to deport a man that is from El Salvador to a country that he never visited before? I just want to understand. They are attempting to deport this man to Uganda. How is this possible, Cyber Dreams? How can they deport you back to somewhere that you never been? I'm going back to a country that I've never been. What is going on? That's kind of crazy to me. Ooh, okay. I like that. To see if displacement actually works. To see if it actually works. That is, man, because if it works on him, if he has the ability to deport a citizen, whatever kind of citizen he is, to a country that he did not come from, man, I tell you, we are in trouble. In my opinion, if that happens, we are in trouble. It's gonna be a lot. Hey, it's gonna be a lot of people going back to Africa. All the pro-blacks that said they want to go to Africa, don't worry about it. You ain't gonna need a plane ticket anymore, Victorious One. All you gotta do is bring a little crime or have a little, you gotta dress a certain way, and they're gonna racial profile your ass, and then you're gonna get deported. You're gonna go jaywalking in the streets in Chicago. You're gonna go jaywalking in DC. They're gonna pull you up. They're gonna say, oh, lock you up since you can't bail yourself out because your ass is broke. All the people that can't bail themselves out, they just gonna deport your ass to Uganda. And now you hunting goats. And now you are hunting goats for jaywalking for the rest of your life. Welcome to the show. The Hood Conservative. Good day, sir. How you doing today? As he get his microphone together, Davey Dick said, just send me to South Africa. I'll be all right.
They sending that one El Salvadoran dude to Uganda, bro.
Yo, I think
they say he don't even speak the language, but the nigga don't even speak English. So what the fuck do it matter where we send him?
It does matter because the man is a citizen.
Not of America.
What do you mean, not of America? He's absolutely
a citizen. He's a citizen of El Salvador.
No, he was never a citizen. No, he's not a citizen. He was
hold on, everybody. All right. So now, please explain to me.
Okay, I'll explain the whole story.
Okay, hold on, I got you. Slow down. I know you, Speedy Gonzalez. Hold on. So now, Imperius is about to let us know why he is not a citizen of the United States of America. Go ahead.
Okay. He entered illegally. Okay. He was caught. He was given a deportation order. He appealed that deportation order to not be removed back to his home country of El Salvador because of risks of gang violence. So he appealed. He got that. But he was always subject to being deported somewhere else. And the government finally decided to deport him. See, this is what I'm saying. You had lack of enforcement. He should have been deported 10 years ago. He's not a U.S. citizen. Like, I would love to know if I can go into Mexico, just sit there and go, I'm a citizen now after a certain amount of time. No, they'll shoot me.
How long has he been here?
Over 10 years.
It doesn't matter how long he's been here.
Over 10 years, Hood?
It doesn't matter how long he's been here. That's the thing.
I'm just curious.
But what I'm saying is that he was also
evading
law enforcement.
How long can the neighbors
he was evading registration. He had no social security number. He never paid taxes. He didn't even learn to speak English. He's being hired under the table. That means he's not paying federal taxes. That in itself is against the law. So he can be deported for that. Do you know?
I thought he had a job paying taxes, raising a family. What you mean?
No, tax evade. He can't. He has no social security card.
Wait a minute.
How is he paying taxes without a social security card?
Answer this question.
Let somebody else talk. Go ahead, Hood. What you saying?
This thing about him being here. If a guy is sleeping with your wife for 10 years, does he become the husband after 10 years, or is it still wrong all the 10 years?
That's the husband, goddamn.
And it's not just that, but these judges have no jurisdiction to even be ruling on this. The INS specifically removed all immigration-related cases from the district court's hands because of this nonsense, because of the politics. It's all immigration-related cases are held under immigration courts unless you're unless you're going for a habeas corpus, and that's what he's trying to do, and he's not going to get it because he's moved out of New York. They moved him out of New York to Texas. He's good luck to try to get a habeas petition in Texas. Like, he's gone, dude. Like, this is like, he's not in New York or Baltimore. And he's either in Florida, Louisiana, or Texas. Like, the judges are not going to give him a habeas there. And even if they gave him, even if, let's say he's in New York and he got a habeas petition, the Second Circuit or the First Circuit's going to overrule the court. You can't have a habeas petition for somebody who's already admittedly illegal.
Damn.
Hey, Sharon, why you going this hard for a nigga that beat up his wife, bro? I thought you was against that kind of thing.
I didn't go hard for him at all. I just thought it was interesting that he's going to get deported for a second time to a country that is not his own. So I thought that was interesting. I believe once things like this happen, that opens up the door for a lot of strange things to happen, for people to just get accidentally deported to countries. Like, I accidentally got deported and I had to fight my way back. So I think it's interesting.
Yeah, but I mean,
you got deported where? Oh, how did you get accidentally deported?
Because, you know, I work construction. They round my ass up.
Get the fuck out of here. You just making
what
shit
I'm
up.
saying is that doesn't matter. Like, the court has ruled back in 2003 after the Patriot Act that the United States, in a national security reason, can detain U.S. citizens on black sites. What the F do you think they can do to illegals? What are you talking about? Like, this is what I'm saying. We're looking and we're trying to impose a morality on people that there's no moral justification for. So name another country. Name another country that you can walk in, receive all kinds of Title I and supplemental living standards by the society, and then yet still not be a citizen, not follow this. Like, this is what I'm saying. The reason why all of this was removed from the district courts was because what you're seeing right now. The district courts are allowing these illegals to file under pseudonyms, which is against the federal rules of criminal procedure and civil procedure. If you're an American citizen, you must have your name released in federal court, but the illegals don't have to. Damn. So they have more rights than you do, and they're not citizens. In a sense. No, it's not. No, that's not, sir. They have more rights than you. That means their anonymity is protected under federal court from you, the public. Are your court records private from the rest of the public? No. So that means even President Trump's records are not sealed, but illegals are. I mean, tell me how they don't have more rights than we do. I don't think they have more rights than us, but of course they do. Of course they do. Why can they? I mean, why can an illegal? Why can an illegal be hired as an officer and be given a firearm? American citizens that are felons can't have firearms. American citizens that are convicted of misdemeanors can't have firearms. It literally says in the Federal Code of Criminal Procedure, it literally in 922G, it asks, are you a citizen? So yes, illegals have more rights than you, sir. That's what you don't understand. You literally don't get that the new people are better than you, and so they get more. That's what they're telling you.
We're talking about Trump bringing the National Guard to like Chicago and all that. I don't think people understand how bad the situations are. Like, you're gonna have to go in there with armies, men with guns, and arrest some people and get people out of these positions because the corruption is so deep. Like, I'm putting together a show right now about the Indian trucker scam. Like, I don't know why, but all of a sudden, all the Indians can't drive this week. It's like 10 accidents on the road. Between America and Canada, we have this problem with like Indians getting CDLs and just driving like Mad Max on the highways. And at the heart of that is like a giant corporate corruption scheme going on, where like they're getting companies in and putting dummy corporations and dummy schools, just rubber stamping CDLs, the whole thing. And it's like, if you're just on the outside, you have no idea what's happening. Like nobody knows why is it that most of the gas stations in the South are now owned by Indians. Most of the 3-star and under hotels are owned by Indians. Like, that thing doesn't happen out of sheer Indian greatness. There's corruption and scamming going on here.
No, it's beyond that. It's not a corporate issue. This is a political issue, and it's about power. If I can bring enough people in so that I can dilute the House seats so that American citizens are being represented by illegals, we can change the Constitution. If
Well,
I have
I'm
enough,
thinking the corporate.
what stops? Hold on, let me ask you a question. What stops them introducing to repeal the 13th Amendment so slavery is legal? Like, you guys think this could never happen? If you bring enough people in from the parts of the world where slavery is legal and it's liked and it's enjoyed, why would they not, when they get the population, repeal slavery and put you back in slavery?
You know who you don't hear
Why?
bitching about slavery? Africans, because they have
Yeah, because they'll
slaves at
come here and
home.
vote for it. They'll come here and vote for it. Like, don't you guys get it? This is what I'm saying. Like, you guys think that other people around the world don't want, like, hate you. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, they hate, the most of the world hates you. All of us.
You talking about
And
America?
that's what you don't get. They want to come here
You talking about
to
Americans?
enslave you. Yes, it doesn't matter what color you are. If you're an American, they want to enslave you and grape your daughters. That's what they want. Do you think when they hire black girls to go to Dubai, white girls, Latino, they don't care? They're going to abuse all of our women. Like, you guys don't. This is what I'm saying. Like, you guys think of morality. Morality is only exists behind the barrel of a gun. Like, that's what you don't get. Like, what makes their like, why is them coming here and putting you guys back in slavery wrong? They don't think it's wrong. So you better have some foundation that you're going to give your life to, not just your existence, but something bigger to yourself. You're ready to die for to prevent that, or you're going to lose. Because these people believe that when they die and they die to oppress you, they're going to get something out of it. So they're willing to die.
I hear you. And so we, at the same time, so are we okay with Donald Trump?
Slavery is legal. Oh, the chat is asking. Slavery is legal in half the world. In China, it's literally a punishment is slavery. It's literally, if you go to jail, you get slavery as punishment.
Right, that's jail. Well, we are.
No, it's not jail. It's called slavery. No. In North Korea, in South Korea, in China, these are in Eastern Europe or in Eastern Asia. The correct punishment is slavery. It is a gulag type thing.
That's fine, but those people are not coming over here in masses where they're going to just overrun our country.
Oh, yes, they are. Who do you think they're catching at the borders? The Venezuelans. It's literally a militia army being sent across the border.
At least that's what they're
Nicaragua is not a gang. It's a militia army. Just like Los Zetas in Mexico is not a cartel. It's a militia army. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is not.
Okay, I hear you. That sounds good. The doom and gloom is good. I get that. I just don't believe.
And again, like this, what is people saying due process? What is due process? Tell me what due process is.
Means that I get a chance to go.
No.
To what it means?
No. Due process just meant that you're given a fair hearing within the system defined as fair. Right. So due process for illegals is no judge, no hearing. If you're caught within the first 2 years, you're deported instantly. That's due process. Because
I don't know if that's due process, but I think you just remixed due process for sure.
No. Due process is the process due to a certain class of people in a certain class of function. It's not just as everyone gets a trial.
Why don't we use the process that
everyone gets a trial?
If we're going to play due process, if we're going to play the due process game, let's use the process that got them in here. We just do whatever the hell we want. How about that?
Why is it that due process within 200 miles of the border, a border patrol can pull any American citizen over, search their car for no reason? That's due process because anyone within 200 miles can be legally suspected of being a smuggler. That's due process. It's the process due to the category. That it doesn't mean trial. It doesn't mean representative. It doesn't mean you get to hear or cross-examine. Why do you think colleges, they have their due process is you don't get to hear from your accuser? That's due process. Because under their system, that's what's fair under their system. See, this is what you guys don't understand the legal terminology of what due process means. It doesn't mean everyone gets a trial. It doesn't mean everyone gets to be heard. Like a felon doesn't get due process if he's picked up on probation violation. Like this is like due process does not just mean everyone gets a trial and be heard.
Right, they don't get a trial to be heard, but also you cannot just take away their freedom neither. That's what.
Yes, you can.
That's the due process. It gotta be it gotta be fair treatment. So you cannot.
That is fair. It's only fair within the system. That's what I'm saying. You're determining fair in a.
So who determines what fair is?
The law. What is written in the code?
Okay,
that's
so
all that determines fair.
All right. So now, what is written in the code is that you cannot just lock somebody up. That's written in the code.
It actually is. For illegals, it is written in the code. You can do that. That's why the district courts have no jurisdiction to release them. The only petition an illegal can do is a habeas petition. That is the only option that they have. The Supreme Court just said this a couple of months ago. Why do you think Gorsuch and Kavanaugh just this last week had to lecture the lower courts?
All right, so due process. Where the hell is my 40 acres in the mule?
That's not due process.
Due process was serious. I want my 40. I want my due process of my 40 acres. Somebody please process my 40 acres in the mule. But it also includes the opportunity to defend their rights as well.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Under the U.S. Constitution, that's what it says.
No, it doesn't.
It says
hold on. It says life, liberty, and property cannot be removed without due process of law.
It said requires just and fair treatment of everyone.
No, it doesn't. It says due process of law. No, it says.
Hold on. So let's just mind it out. It's okay if I'm wrong. You can correct me. What I understand it is requires just and fair treatment for everyone, regardless of background, regardless of immigration status.
That's not what it says.
If a life, freedom, or property is at risk, that includes having the opportunity to defend their rights in court. That's what I understand what due process is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It says, no state shall deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without the due process of law. It doesn't say fairness.
It says also the rights in court, though. It says to
no,
defend.
It doesn't.
It says
read the 14th Amendment.
It says to defend. It says to defend their rights in court.
No, it doesn't.
In the Constitution, it definitely says.
No, it doesn't. That's a different amendment. Sir, no state shall make or enforce any law which abridges the privileges or immunities of a citizen of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law.
Don't forget,
you're making this argument for a guy that we already brought back to court. We brought him back from El Salvador. You're acting like we could give him a fair shot.
Hold on. We're not even talking about. Hold on. So we can have a conversation. We're not even actually talking about Kilmar anymore. We're just talking about the what is due process and how. We talking about due process right now. We're not even actually.
You say you're entitled to due process. What is due process?
So what I'm saying in due process, it says regardless of background or immigration status. That's what it says.
No, it doesn't. Where does it say that on the 14th Amendment?
Can somebody look up under U.S. Constitution and laws due process?
I'm looking under the 14th Amendment, which grants due process under law. No state shall make or enforce any law which abridges the privileges or the immunities of a United States citizen, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny any person within the jurisdiction the equal protection of law.
Don't forget
what are you talking? It has nothing to do about race.
Don't forget about it.
It has nothing to do about anything.
Don't forget that it includes the opportunity to defend.
No, it doesn't. Why did Obama deport 1 million people without any hearing? Because he can.
Because he caught their ass. That's why.
Because that's due process. You caught them, they're gone. Due process.
Right, but this situation is a little bit different than just catching.
No, it's not. These are illegals, just like he deported.
So, but I understood
the 14th Amendment grants to citizens of the United States.
Hold on. So, from what I understood with Kilmar, is that he was here on some asylum situation, so he won't get killed.
No, I explained that. He was told you can't deport him back to El Salvador. You can deport him anywhere else. The judge said, I find it credible that in El Salvador he has a credibility. You can even overrule that now. I think it's been appealed and overruled because there's a new president and there's no more gangs down there because of Bukele. So you could deport him back there now.
Me personally, I don't really actually care about Kilmar, so to speak.
I say send everyone to the middle of Uganda, every prisoner in the whole world. Send them to the middle of Africa.
Right. That's the more concerning part for me, is that he's able to send somebody to a country that they're not from. That is a little scary.
Why? He has been given the option because the judge says you can't send him to El Salvador. We don't have the option to send him to there. The judge back in 2019 said he has a credible risk of gang violence, so you can't send him back to El Salvador. Okay, we can send him anywhere else. And Uganda signed a treaty with us to accept all deportations. Gone.
Gone. That's wild. But still, I still think it's wild. To me personally, it's wild. I think we completely disagree on what the Constitution says about what due process is. I think it does include having the opportunity to defend yourself in court. You believe that it doesn't, so we could, that's just
no. This isn't about a belief. This is the court. The court's why was Congress allowed to pass?
I understand.
Why was the court? Why was the Congress?
You get a chance to talk. You don't got to rush. You ain't in no.
No. I'm on break. But what I'm saying is, look, the issue is this. Due process isn't defined as what we think is fair. Due process is defined what Congress has defined it as.
Right.
Congress defined the INS, or INA, the Immigration and Nationality Act in 1952, to define what their due process is. They have none. We removed it from the courts so that the courts can't come in and go, oh, this is unfair. We don't like that you're racially discriminating. Okay, by courts, you don't get to hear it anymore.
Yeah, but also
that's what the Immigration National Act is. We don't care. Why do you think the court?
Hold on, one at a time. You get a chance to defend yourself is the part that I don't know why you missing that part. You do get a chance to defend yourself.
No, you don't. You have one option. File a habeas. That's not defending yourself. A habeas petition is a protection from undue arrest and seizure. That is the only option that they have. That is the only option that the INA has given them. They don't have an option to go, oh, this is unfair, racial discrimination. I don't get this. That is gone from them. Congress removed that from them. Congress removed that from them. So either you believe in democracy or Congress.
I learned about the Constitution a very long time ago. Due process is a little foggy.
Congress can do whatever it wants.
Hold on. What I remember from it is that you have a right to defend yourself no matter what your immigration status is. So this is the part that is confusing me. So I don't know, maybe
what
just
statute or case are you referring to?
That you're talking about, maybe you're 100% correct, but what I understand due process is not what you're saying.
But what case are you citing to define? I'm citing directly from the 14th Amendment. What case? What common law case ruling? What statute, therefore, is defining due process as to be able to defend yourself?
Now I gotta look up I don't have that in front of me.
That's what I'm saying. There is none. Due process is defined
I don't know what you're saying is 100% true that there is none, but I know just like a goddamn lawyer usually gotta go ahead and search that kind of situation up. They usually don't have those type of things just on a grill, especially somebody that is not a lawyer like myself. I do not just have this court case right here. So
due process is the process granted to the party, the class to which the party incorporates. Okay? An illegal has no due process by definition in the INA. Congress has defined this. The courts have no voice in this. That's what I'm trying to say. It might not seem fair. That's what I'm trying to say. Fairness,
I'm not saying it's fair. We're
not
talking about if it's fair. First of all, we're not talking about if it's fair or not. That's irrelevant at this point. We're not even talking about what's fair, what's not yet. At least. Let me see. Let me go to goddamn Google. And let me see. Now, what's the question that we looking for, Imperious?
Due process. You need to look up what is due process, and it will tell you due process is a legal thought or a legal concept that it is the legal rights afforded to a class.
Let's see.
Due process. Go ahead, look it up. You'll see. Go look up Black's Law Dictionary.
Yeah, keep talking. I'm trying to find out what's the best version that we can find it. I do not want to read the 14th Amendment because it's all these lawyer terms that I don't, that ain't regular English.
Goddamn public school education ain't helping, is it?
Damn it! Due process means the government.
Example, you understand that, like in the immigration courts, you have no right to an attorney.
Due process means that the government must give a compelling reason before infringing upon certain fundamental rights, no matter your immigration status. So again, so you get.
It means a class. For example, you have no right to an attorney.
That's saying that you could go to court. God damn it!
No, you can't. If you could go to court, you would have an attorney representing you. You have no right to an attorney. Okay. Illegal immigration proceedings, you have no right to an attorney. Why don't you look that up? How are you going to defend yourself if you have no attorney?
Due process primarily refers to the concept found in the 5th Amendment, not the 14th, to the U.S. Constitution, which says no one shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law by the federal government. And then we also have the 14th Amendment, ratified in 1868, uses the same 11 words called the Due Process Clause to extend this obligation. The states, these words have as their central promise and assurance that all levels of American government must operate within the law and provide fair procedures. There are at least 3 other uses of this phrase, due process, in the American Constitution. So this is the problem that me and you are having. Clearly, you only talking about.
Okay, so and I'll ask you again.
Hold on, and I'm talking about different versions of it. So the 5th Amendment refers to due process as only one of many promises, protections of Bill of Rights, gives people against the federal government. Originally, these promises had no application at all against the states. So again, we're seeing that we both are actually correct. Neither one of us is actually wrong on this point.
No, I'm absolutely correct. That's why
you are absolutely correct on the 14th Amendment, 100%.
Yeah, the due process.
There's no way you're correct on anything, Sharon. You are not correct on anything you read.
Hold on. Conservative want to pop shot. No, I'm absolutely correct as well, Conservative, on that. It includes having the opportunity to defend their rights in court. I'm also correct on that too by the 5th Amendment.
No, that's not true.
You just read said that the government can declare certain circumstances where you don't have those rights. Just like immigrants, like what he was saying, if the government declares you're an immigrant, you don't get a right to a lawyer. So what you just read disproves your own point.
It does not say
due process is the process due to the class under the clause. It's not that hard. Look at illegals don't get a right. Like, for example, what is expedited removal?
I don't know.
Look up what an expedited removal is.
Yeah, let's stick to one thing at a time.
No, but that's an expedited removal. Hold on. An expedited removal means that you do not get a hearing in front of a judge if you've been here within under 2 years. So no, this is what I'm saying. Due process doesn't mean it means fair into the system that it was constructed for you. So, for example, if it's been constructed that you have no right to an attorney, you have no hearing, there is no fairness there. You're gone. That's what you need to look up. Expedited removal.
But that's something different. That's fine.
No, it's not.
Yes,
it's under the INA. It's under the Immigration and Nationality Act.
So, but we're not talking about
encompasses due process because that is the due process that's been given to them.
Hold on.
Their due process is they get nothing.
Hold on. You are conflating things now. The fact of the matter is, it got 3 different amendments that have the word due process in it. And then one of the goddamn amendments, you do have a right to defend yourself in the court of law. So you are 100% right.
A U.S. citizen does. A U.S. citizen does.
No, it says it doesn't. It says regardless of immigration status.
Then why can you have expedited removals?
That is something different regardless.
No, it's not.
So the reason why it is because those are words, right? Words, it says it, due process, regardless of immigration status. I'm looking at it. It says regardless of immigration status. So you still
yes, and if the due process,
what I'm saying is this: you cannot get around the fact that it says regardless of your immigration status. So regardless of his immigration status, he still gets the right to talk to somebody and argue back and forth why he deserves.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. That's the whole point. The only option he has is a habeas claim. That's why his attorney put in a habeas claim today. That's it, dude.
Listen,
that's all he has.
Listen, hold on. Hold on. We need to understand. Hold on. We need to understand this. We are not arguing about Camille at this point. We are arguing the definition of due process. I don't really actually care about that man, but we are talking about due process. So we gonna stick to that subject of due process, and due process says regardless of immigration status, and you cannot get around that. So this whole expedited movement thing, that is something different. That's come after you had your due process.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. You don't get due process. That's your due process. If you are here under 2 years and you are caught within 100 miles of the border, is you get arrested and deported. And it's fair. There's your due process. They didn't beat the shit out of you while you're doing it. So there's due process.
I think
that's what due process is.
Yeah, I think
due process is that the system that was defined was done fairly. The system that's defined is that if you're here under 2 years, within 100 miles of the border, you're gone. As long as they don't beat you, cripple your legs, kill you, there's your due process.
Yeah, I feel you. I think the only problem is that you are conflating the part that he had a due process and he had to go in front of a judge and he lost whatever that judge said, and now they said that he got to get deported. He still got his chance to brief.
That's what I said from the beginning. Due process is the process given to the class. It doesn't matter if it's fair.
Regardless of
he got his due process.
Regardless of what you're saying, he got his due process. If the judge decided that he
and if no due process is your due process, you get no due process.
It's okay to let somebody else talk.
I gotta hop off, but what I'm saying is, if the due process afforded to you is no due process, therefore you have no due process.
Right. So that's
Congress defined that these people have no due process.
That's the problem that you having that he himself in the history books. He had his due process. He went in front of a judge, and now he's going to get deported for the second time. That's fine. But he went in front of a judge before he got deported for the second time. And that's what they missed.
Yeah, but millions of people
don't. Hold on. And that's what they missed the first time. And this is why he got sent back here. So he can have his due process. Now they saying, yes, you need to deport his ass. Clearly, you said that he can't get deported back to El Salvador for whatever reason. So they trying to send him to Uganda because Uganda and America got their treaty, whatever that is, fine. Regardless, you can't do things without the due process. I don't know why we trying to act like we don't understand.
But what if Congress has defined you have no due process?
Well, then that would be a different conversation. That's not.
That's the same thing. That's what I just talked about the INA.
Yeah,
but defined your due process is no due process.
You're talking about what if. We're not talking about what if. We're talking about what is actually happening today.
That's what's happening right now across the border, all over. They're being deported without hearings.
Hold on. You said what if? That if is not realistic.
Are you talking about Kilmar specifically?
I don't want to talk about ifs. We talking about the law. I ain't talking about no goddamn if. I'm talking about what it says. We ain't talking about no if. We know a whole bunch of if somebody takes something away.
There's no ifs. There's thousands of people being deported without due process now.
Just like you said earlier, what if they just decided to vote to bring back slavery? We all gonna be fine. That's a great argument. It's a whatever. Well, we ain't talking about no goddamn what if. We talking about what is. And what is immigration status regardless of your immigration status. That is the problem that you are missing. And I don't know why you're missing it, but you are. Welcome to the show.
Not missing anything. If you're an illegal, you have no due process.
Okay.
Like it's been defined by Congress in the INA.
Yeah, you're missing it. But okay, welcome to the show, JR Boxing. Good day, sir.
What's going on, Sharon? Imperious, what's happening with y'all, man? I'm just kind of breaking up the monotony because y'all talking in circles now.
I'll be back in about 10 minutes. I'll be right back.
All right.
Y'all talking in circles, man. But interesting, like I said, interesting talking points for sure. But y'all kind of talking in circles with each other. So I'll just come on, maybe talk about something different now.
I don't know why he's talking about what ifs when it literally says regards to immigration status. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the only part that's confusing to me. And shout out to the stupid people that was like, yeah, he said it, so it's true.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's unfortunate for him, but you say to yourself, look, you don't have a deep personal care for him. You just saying, look, as far as law goes, like, is he being treated or is he being treated fairly, by what's defined in our constitutional laws? That's
Right.
the argument you're making. And I'm Imperious. He was, kind of, going against that argument, but he made some valid points. Valid points is made on both sides. So
yeah, he brought us some good things. And if he was just to stick me to just strictly the 14th Amendment, then yeah, I think he'd be right. But it's another 2 amendments that have due process in it, and it says otherwise, right? So it's just what it is. So
yeah.
Hey, listen, all I do though, they just start deporting people even to countries that they don't belong. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean that's
a slippery slope, JR.
Yeah, only thing I can say about that specific situation for Abrego Garcia, that's a sad, unfortunate situation, but I mean it is what it is, right? So
it seems like Hood Service doesn't care about the National Guard. What is your thoughts about the National Guard, and what is Donald Trump going to do? Because he's going to have to maintain that. So what are we going to do? Are we going to have America's police department? Well, what are we going to do?
Hey, that's look. One thing I would say, you probably need to coin that phrase, America's police department, before people start running off with that. So I heard it from your mouth first. So you probably want to coin that phrase before it starts floating around YouTube streets. Right. But yeah, that's laughable to think to me, man. Obviously, there's deeper rooted issues than just a show of force, because what the president is doing now, he's putting a Band-Aid on the situation. That's cool. For whatever metrics he's trying to get out of it, or whatever narrative he's trying to spin, whatever. He's the president, and if he wants to do that and waste taxpayer dollars and all of that stuff, by all means do it. Because he could say, well, there's been no crimes for the past 11 days. Well, yeah, if I'm a criminal and you have show of force, I'm probably not going to go outside and commit a crime when you have a big, strong showing of force. How long can he keep up this show of force with the National Guard? Because money has to be budgeted for that. We're talking about people that are usually not on active orders. So now they're getting per diem, now they're getting actively paid. So how long are you gonna do it for? You're gonna do it for a year? You're gonna do it for 2 years, 3 years? How long are you gonna be able to keep this up? Because federally, the federal government usually kicks in about 75%, and then the state picks up 25% of the National Guard budget. So federally, his administration, 75%, whatever they want to do with the budget for the guards and reserve people, they usually give about 75%. And then the other 25 is kicked in by the states. So how long can he keep this up? That's what I said about that first comment. I don't think he can sustain this. I don't think he can continue this, because I don't know if they properly budgeted for it.
Right, because especially if you're trying to expand it to other cities as well.
Yeah, so
that's the scary part for me as well. It's just a cool short-term situation, and all it's going to breed is that we need to police our citizens more if we want to keep crime down, and that's the scary thing. I do not want to live in a goddamn military state. Goddamn it.
Yeah, no, that'd be crazy. Because you think about it. Look, they're driving these big armored vehicles down the streets of DC. Every time they crank up that vehicle, that's money spent.
Absolutely.
That's gas. That's maintenance. That's all kind of things that go along with this. You deploying 2,200 National Guard personnel in a small area of DC.
Right.
Like, to put this in relation, they sent 3,000 like Army, like 82nd Airborne personnel to when we left Afghanistan. Like when they had to get out of there, they sent 3,000 initially. Then they turned it. They're like, "Whoa, we got to send some more." So they sent like an additional 2,000. In total, it was like 5,000, close to 6,000 in total by the time they left. But the initial show of force when they got to Afghanistan, they sent 3,000. So you telling me you sending 2,200 people to a city, and a previous administration sent 3,000 to a country? So where's this money going to come from? How long will they be able to withstand spending the money? They're probably going to have to make concessions in certain places or spaces when it comes to the guard to reallocate money, especially if you want to go about doing this in different cities for a longer period of time. But he got the big bang, he got the show of force, and that's going to happen. You're going to show of force, and crime is going to go down. So that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think it looks good. What's up, Stanley? Stanley, I think it looks good that the National Guard got deletions down to 0 for 11 days. I think it looks good.
Yeah.
And it's going to get a lot of people to be like, let's really think about this thing here. However, I do not like the idea of bringing the military into our cities to do this. That's number one. Number two, the way how I look at it, this is just a slippery slope towards just claiming anything as an emergency. Because now you're going to say, hey, look, this is why it's an emergency. We got it down to 0.
Yeah.
This is an emergency in every city that has at least two deletions. That's an emergency. That's it. Now we in the Minority Report.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if he's using it to get his stats off, so he can sit there, at a meeting and sit there in front of press and say, over the past 11 days or 30 days or 90 days, however long he decides to do this for, and to start spouting off stats, he gonna have that in his back pocket.
Whew.
And it came at the cost of having a America's police force, right?
Yeah.
It came at the cost. What's the back end of that cost? How much did it cost the taxpayers of that state? How much is it going to cost? So people are they're gonna notice it.
Not only that, like I know, like right now, we don't really know the only short-term effect that we do understand is that crime is down dramatically. However, what else is going to be down dramatically? Probably businesses making money. Because clearly the only reason why it went down so much, it ain't because they locking people up, it's because there ain't nobody going outside.
Hey, look, Sean, if I'm a criminal, I'm definitely not going outside. Look, I'm not gonna say I grew up in the most hood area, but I've seen hood activities. And when you got a strong police force showing in your area, you ain't finna have to, you know what I'm saying? The D-boys, we ain't standing out on the corner no more. Hey, bruh, 5-0 coming around, everybody going inside until they leave. So when the National Guard decides to leave, and they know, and they have to use the DEA and the FBI for other things that take precedence, then guess what? Criminal activity will probably go up again, right?
So, and it's probably gonna go ridiculous too, because everybody gonna come outside. Like, oh, they left.
Yeah, they gone. I'm back outside.
Ain't nobody gonna accidentally see nobody. Everybody just gonna be outside at once, guns blazing.
So yeah, it's a Band-Aid situation, honestly. But
yeah, I think it's really more of a Band-Aid, at least at right now, from my judgment right now. If he figure out a way to sustain it, I don't know how this is gonna really. I don't know, man. Like I'm a little nervous to see. Well, then again, like in New York, we kind of used to seeing police officers with M16s and all that, just standing outside and all that, right? So out here, Times Square, anywhere in the train, when you see the police, they got the big guns, they got military-looking people there, right? I don't know if they're National Guard or what, but they have the damn Desert Storm outfits on.
Yeah,
fully geared up. So for me, it ain't that big of a deal. But when we talking about this, the city's gonna start looking like it was the pandemic again. because everybody's scared to come outside. I don't.
Like the streets gonna be empty. They're gonna be. I mean, look, DC is a big tourist area anyway. You know, a lot of people come down there to DC to see the national museums and things like that. So it's a big tourist attraction. So they're always gonna be busy. The streets are always gonna be busy, right? But my thing is the cost. And I would like to hear a conservative explain to me, you know, the big deal was, oh, well, we don't want to add to the deficit. We don't want to add. We don't want to add. This is clearly going to add to the deficit. Like this little thing that he's doing with DC. And if he decides to expand to another city, it's going to add to the deficit. So how are they going to justify that?
That is a great question. I don't know how they're going to justify it. And right now, the black conservatives, they winning, right? According to the stats, they're going to win and they're going to be able to brag about it. I just don't. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's scary to me.
Crime is down. Nobody outside. Like, you know. So eventually people gonna have to come outside. Them tanks, they gonna go away. Those big Humvees that they driving down the street, they gonna go away. I mean, they're gonna have to.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be able to monetarily sustain it unless they just, you know what, forget it. Let's just blow past the budget that's already been created, and let's just add more money to the situation. I mean, he could rightfully do that. You know, hey, we need an emergency situation with Congress. We need y'all to approve more funds so we can continue on with this show of force that we're doing. So he could do that, I guess. Get Mike Johnson in there to lie again, if that's what he wants to do.
But the most scariest thing to me about it, like if he do figure out a way to get the National Guard in Chicago, and he gets the same exact results in Chicago JR boxing, we would be in trouble.
Oh, but yeah. Oh boy, because you know he not gonna hesitate. He gonna throw that information out there on Truth Social. He ain't gonna hesitate. He not gonna wait to say it. He gonna be up. That message gonna come out at 2 a.m. Yeah, they're headed to Chicago and and this and the third. Because he's not gonna give, you know, normal media outlets the pleasure of releasing the story. He gonna put it out himself. 2 a.m. Truth Social. That's what he gonna do.
And so I believe, hood conservative, do you consider yourself a black conservative?
Sure, why not?
Okay, all right. So are you somebody that would like for the National Guard to run up in Chicago and do the same thing that they did in DC? Hood conservative.
You know, I asked before if you had a better solution, and nobody seems to have a better plan. So we're going to stick with the plan we got.
So that is, I think the better solution is giving them better opportunity.
Yeah, they got opportunities. They're going to kill each other. So we're going to have to fix that problem first.
So your idea of fixing it is keeping them inside. You keep them inside long enough, they can't hurt each other.
Whoever said they were inside? Why you keep saying that?
Because they not. I don't think arrests went up. Is it that the crime went down because arrests went up drastically?
Crime went down because criminals are in jail.
So you saying that in DC, arrests went up as well as crime went down?
Arrests went up, yes. That's a temporary spike. I mean, they're not going to have 100 people to lock up next week. It's going to kind of peter out after the first week or so.
No, so I didn't know.
Most of the stupid people are gone by now. You know what I mean?
So, Hood, what I got to understand is that crime just went down because of the National Guard. I didn't know arrests went up in DC as well. I did not hear that stat.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I can't remember the exact numbers, so it'll be a lie if I try to quote it. But a lot of people got arrested, a lot of guns off the street, a lot of I think it was basically like the stop and frisk model. So they were just doing basic policing and getting people out locked up for simple things. You know, a lot of people had guns on, a lot of people had records, stuff like that. Not a record, but a warrant.
Yeah, it's kind of. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's completely factually true, because look, the way I see this administration, if something like that were to be like all the way factually true, the numbers would be out there. Like they'll be plastered everywhere. Every media outlet will be running with it because that'll be the information that they will be giving, force feeding us to know.
You
Like we
think the
will be
news doesn't
sitting
lie to
at
you
desks.
already? You think the news hasn't been keeping stuff from you already, bro? What are you talking
No,
about?
I'm not just saying like a liberal news. I'm saying even conservative news. I'm saying even if
Yeah,
you
it's on
consider
Fox
Fox
News, bro.
News,
It's on
if
Fox News. I just
if
don't know it
you
by heart.
if you
Okay, so
consider
I just looked at. I just looked it up. So, what it seems like arrests went up about 1,000. Right, it went up about 1,000. However, the rest that went up is misdemeanors and petty shit, not violent crimes, not guns, not drugs. It's a whole bunch of misdemeanors.
so that's what I'm
Did you
saying. Like
expect them to stop robberies in progress? That's not how it works, bro. We don't live in the movies.
So what I'm saying is that the arrest is misdemeanors, simple assault, trespassing, driving without a license, like things like that. And
yeah, so
so
that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I'm like, I don't know if that's all the way factually true. I'm not saying what you're saying doesn't have any credence, but what I'm saying, like factually true to the point, like what Sharon said, look, it went up 1,000, but it's not like they got 1,000 guns off the street. Like if he would have got 1,000 guns off the street, you would be hearing
400.
about things like that. If
400.
if he was to, let's say if there
Is
was to
400 enough,
say
bro? No, it's
if
not 1,000, but it's 400 enough.
no, I'm just saying, I don't know where you're getting that from. You telling me a number, I don't know
Is
if
it
it's
enough,
factually
brother? Is
true.
it enough? If 1,000 is good, is 400 good for you too?
But I'm saying if it was a
Why can't you give
number,
me a yes or no? We have
if
a
it was
concrete
a
number. Does
if
the number satisfy you?
if it
okay,
was
all
a
right, all right. So look, we'll do this. Okay, give him a yes or no, and then give him your explanation to whatever.
I'll say no. And my reason to saying no, because if it was something that was, let me say impactful, right? Let me use that word. If it was impactful, we know what we know about this administration. Anything that they deem as impactful, they're not going to waste time to not report it themselves. He would have had the Attorney General Pam Bondi giving a statement to say, this is how much crime we got off the street of DC. This is how much, if it was something that was like impactful. Now, if we're talking about petty crimes and things like that, she's not wasting her time with petty crimes. But if it's something big, he is going to break that news himself. That's what we know about this administration. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's truly impactful. Not saying it doesn't hold credence to what you're saying. Sure, if they're out there and they're doing stop and frisk and getting people for warrants and expired car tags and things like that, cool. Crime is crime, right? But impactful crime. Because what he's telling us, we're trying to clean up the streets. We're trying to get gun violence. We're trying to stop this, trying to stop that. But if I don't hear no arrest about nobody killing nobody, or you taking
Nobody's
down
been
some
killed in
mass
the
gun
last 11
organization, then
days.
are
Think
things
about what you
impactful?
said. Bro, think about what you said. So they've created a climate of pressure with petty arrests and petty interactions. They've created a climate of police pressure. You want people to be arrested for murder, but nobody's murdered in 7 days because of the climate of pressure created by petty police interactions. I don't
And
think you understand the nature
that
of the problem you're dealing with.
I do understand the nature of the problem, because when I first got on here, I said they're doing a show of force. This is exactly what they're doing. They're doing a show of force. I served
Hold on,
40
bro.
years
Why would you
faithfully in the
want them to be
military,
arresting murderers when nobody's
recently
getting
retired.
murdered?
So I
Nobody's getting murdered,
understand,
bro. So how are they supposed to
what
arrest
show of force
murderers?
is. But I also said it's a band-aid to a situation, because how long can they sustain a show of force? The criminals,
How are
they'll
they
outwait.
supposed to arrest murderers if nobody's been
They'll
murdered?
outweight you. So what's
If nobody's been
Okay,
murdered, how do
okay,
you
all
get
right.
to
All
arrest
right.
generational
All right.
murderers,
leave when the
bro?
National Guard
Hold
has
on.
to go away?
Hold
That's
on.
all I'm saying.
I,
That's
I
the
Okay.
would I would
situation
like
I'm
for
under.
him to
Hold on.
address that question. If nobody's been murdered in the last
Okay.
11 days, what murderers do you arrest?
The ones that you're supposed to go ahead and do some goddamn research. There's been people dead and
The ones
before,
that he
right?
said he was going after.
Right. All,
I
all
mean,
those
he said
other
he was going after the murderers and the
all the
criminals.
other cases that happened a week before. Go ahead and find those people.
Yo,
Why hasn't the DC police arrested them then? If that's the case, why weren't they arrested before Trump did that?
All we are doing is answering your question. You saying how are they going to arrest people for deletions if nobody has been deleted in the past 7 days? You go before those 7 days.
I got a question.
Right, that's before Trump got there. So while Trump is there, nobody's getting murdered. So there's nobody to be arrested for that. It's a silly question to ask for.
No, it's not. But hold on. Let's keep. We got Reese from Philly, and then we got AR. Go ahead, Reese.
Real quick. Are these guys investigators that like investigate murders?
The National The National Guard is deployed in DC.
Oh, right. It's just them.
Yes,
and that's it. Well, you can't really expect them to go out and come in from. All they're doing is making a presence to show fear, right? And that's the reason why it hasn't been no murders. So the plan has worked 100%. The murder rate in the last 10 days is 0. That's a good thing. They're not these guys aren't investigators, so I can't expect them to go around rounding up murderers if the local police hasn't.
Right. So the local police should be able to have more time to do investigation. That's number one. Number two, it seems like it's just a band-aid. It doesn't seem like it's a real solution. In my opinion, I do not think he'd be able to maintain this kind of a solution because you're going to have to maintain that kind of police presence in the city to maintain that so you could get the culture to actually shift. It's going to take more than 2 weeks. It's going to take maybe 3 months of this heavy police presence, and then maybe the crime will slow down for real in real life. However, you got to at least hold it down until at least the winter time when people start being inside the house. Before you go, Reese, I want AR to jump in there as well. I know he got something to say on this. Go ahead, AR.
So good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, I hear all this, it's 0 murders in 11 days and whatnot. I'm just wondering for the people that support it, at what should there be 0 crime? Should we do everything in our power possible to make sure there's no crime whatsoever happening?
No.
Okay, so at what arbitrary level do you set to say this is crime that's allowed, this is crime that isn't allowed?
No crime is technically allowed. I don't understand what you're leading up to, but I'll let you finish.
Well, I asked the question, you said no. So I'm asking you, what arbitrary standard do you have in your mind that when you say I approve of this amount of crime?
Again, no crime is acceptable by definition, so I don't understand.
I'm asking you, we don't have to go we're not going to a dictionary, we're going to you personally. What is your level that you find to be acceptable?
Again, no crime is acceptable.
Okay, so should we do everything in our power possible to stop any amount of crime from being committed?
It's impossible to stop every piece of crime.
I didn't ask you that. I asked you, should we get as close to 0 as possible?
Yeah, we can get as close to 0 as possible. I don't think you'll ever get to 0. You shouldn't expect it.
Okay, that's fine. Sure. We don't have to make good the enemy of perfect or perfect the enemy of good, whichever way the saying goes. So if you believe that we should do everything in our power possible to get crime to as close as 0 as possible, do you support everybody being implanted with a chip that the government can now track them, and the government gives them a daily itinerary so that all crime can now be, anybody that commits a crime will be known where they were and when why not? That would help us get to 0.
That's like the Chinese social system. Again, there are other principles to balance it against. Though we're not going to be Chinese.
Okay, so what other principles are you balancing against it?
Well, we still have a constitution. I'm not ready to ball it up and throw it away just because niggas are uncomfortable.
What?
Okay. What can you elaborate on what you find to be a moral that you compare it against crime and say that no crime should be allowed to happen so that this moral can my personal moral that I believe
you are losing me, brother. I don't even know what this means. What are these words about?
Because it's not Fox News. I understand.
Because it's not sensible. Like, what are you trying to ask?
Sensible. I asked the question. You just don't comprehend it.
What are you attempting to get at?
Okay. Just asking a question.
Hold on, conservative. Why you just can't answer the question?
No question.
Because it's a nonsensical, well-formed question. The words don't really go together. I'm asking him to speak proper English so I can understand him like an adult.
Wow. I don't understand.
What part of it are you having trouble understanding? So I can elaborate. What did you say, JR?
I said, "What's good with you, man? Good
What's up,
hearing
man?
from you. I ain't heard you in a while, man."
Yeah. We got a fake conservative. People keep on saying conservative this, conservative. Can we please stop calling them conservatives? There's nothing conservative about a police state. There's nothing conservative about taking stakes, government stakes in public companies. That's not the conservatism that any of us grew up on. So it would be best if we just call them what they are, which are maggots.
They are.
Because that's their ideology. That's the Trump ideology.
When Muriel Bowser said that when she asked to have when she asked to have the National Guard deployed into Washington, D.C., was Muriel Bowser advocating for a police state?
DC is a separate case because it's not a state, so it doesn't really have the same rights. But if we're talking about Chicago, we're talking about LA, we're talking about these other cities within states. Yeah, we do talk about federalism when we talk about them, but DC is a federal territory, so the federal government can do what the federal government does in DC.
Okay.
Bar.
Hey, Teron,
Yes.
have you ever heard of the Safe Streets program in Philadelphia?
No.
Oh. This is when they put cops, uniformed cops on every drug set in the city, 24 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
They were literally parked out there and posted up where drug dealers used to be.
Right.
And it threw everything off in the city. Murder rate went down lower than it's ever been. Crime was at its all-time low. And as soon as they stopped Stay Safe Streets, it shot back up. Anybody can come up here and try to use any type of fancy language they want to. The bottom line is the hood in America is so bad you need troops on the corners, and it is that bad. When you got teenagers running around with machine, how many kids you think got shot in Philly last week? I'm talking about dead. I don't even know. It was several, like almost every day. Come on, man. That won't hit home really until it's one of theirs. The people that are against that. You know what I'm saying? I'm against it in that I don't want to see troops on the fucking corner. Who wants to see that? But things are this bad. So what do I want? I got a choice to make. What do I want? Do I want kids to keep dying? Do I want to get caught in the crossfire on one of these bus stops? Or do I want troops there? I want troops there. Not only that, and I got 2 strikes too. So if I react in any way, I'm out of here forever. If I get pinned down and got to do something, come on, man.
First of all, that's a dope Targaryen banner you got hanging up.
I was about to say the same thing.
Yeah.
I
just
don't know
noticed
if you make beats or not, but it looks like you're in a studio. So if you make beats, like drop your info in the back chat if you don't mind.
I don't think anybody here is arguing that less deaths is bad. It's about the method that you're going about to get to that, or whether it be deaths, whether it be sexual assaults, whether it be an increase in or a decrease in delinquency, kids obeying their parents. There's like things that you wouldn't do, even if you think, yeah, this is a 90% chance. If I do this, 90% chance the outcome is going to be something I want. But what you might do is something that you have to weigh against other things. So with these troops on the street and other things, to me, he brought up Illinois, or he brought up, oh, it's not a police state because DC or whatever the case may be. Is it going to be a police state in these other cities? It is if the federal government is saying we're going to put troops there and the city didn't ask for that, then yes, there's a big issue with that. DC is a separate case because DC is a federal territory. You have to weigh, though, the benefits, the pros, cons. You lose liberty. The more security you have, quote unquote security, the less liberty you have. And so you always have to weigh those two things.
I think we're about to get a real test of the so-called sanctuary city model. I think what I suspect is we're gonna see if we can actually maintain the sanctuary city in the face of extreme government pressure, because I don't know that a city can declare itself a sanctuary for illegal immigrants when, by definition, anything having to do with a foreign national, a citizen of a foreign country, is the purview of the federal government. And so it looks like we're setting up for a kind of clash here.
Imperious. That's crazy.
You're actually going to see. You're going to hear a very interesting case before SCOTUS. They're going to take up. It looks like they're going to take it. They're going to take up the Second Amendment Preservation Act in Missouri, which is going to answer this question of sanctuary jurisdictions, because the federal.
You said a 2A?
No, for universally about sanctuary jurisdictions. It's going to probably put that question to rest finally, I would hope.
I thought you said something
because-
about it was something about 2A. My bad.
Well, the Second Amendment Preservation Act. Yes. See, this one, the law is a tapestry and it's a wall. You're building with one brick by brick. So what this case is talking about is that I think it was the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals and the Federal District Court in Missouri. Missouri passed a law that said that we will not help the federal government enforcing any federal gun laws, as in assault weapons bans, suppressors, short-barreled rifles, anything. And the federal court said, you can't do that. The circuit court said, you can't do that. But those same circuit courts said, you can do that with illegals and sanctuary cities. So the Supreme's going to finally put these inferior lower court judges in line. Like that. Remember, these lower courts are a creation of Congress. They aren't legitimate. There was only one court that was created by the Constitution, the Supreme Court. All other courts were created as a jurisprudence from Congress. So all these, like,
I just feel like there might be some gray area there regarding 2A, since it's Constitution versus immigration, which is going to be the federal statutes.
That's my point.
Yeah, that's fair. But right now, though, I'm saying, you said right now, it sounded like, I'm just saying there's gray area right now, and yes, SCOTUS might declare something else.
My point being that the Second Amendment is an inalienable right in the Bill of Rights, and it would incur the 10th Amendment. So the Second Amendment would have more legitimacy to be protected than civil statutes.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But yet the courts won't protect the same thing they're doing with sanctuary cities for preservation of the Second Amendment.
Gotcha.
So you see how they rule you.
Oh, here we go.
Like, this is one, they literally have convinced you that you deserve less than the people that are being entered in this country. Nobody cares about it.
They didn't convince me shit, because I think that the bump stock bans, all that shit is, I don't think it's
I'm saying in general. I'm not talking you specifically. I'm talking about the Overton window, the Vox Populi. People have been convinced that it is a moral virtue to give up their rights for illegals to be brought in and replace them.
Well, they've been convinced that to give up their rights for more than just, and we don't have to say illegals. That that might be your talking point right here, respectfully. But they've been told, people give up their rights for a lot of things.
To give up our rights for a long time. Now, personally, I don't believe I would.
Imperius, let the man finish. Hold on, Imperius, let the man finish.
Oh no, he's good.
All right.
No, I mean, personally, I always side with security more than freedom, because freedom is. Oh, of course, because freedom is an illusion. Freedom is just again, freedom and authority are a circular paradigm. If you have no freedom, or if you have all freedom, you have no rights, because that means everyone has the freedom to do whatever they want to you.
You still have,
like, for example, if I have the freedom to do what I want, what stops me? If I have the freedom to do what I want, what stops me from getting a bunch of good old boys and putting black people back in chains?
The other,
you know what I'm saying?
The other people that's going to
exactly. And so other people will fight.
You don't, from a natural right standpoint, there is nothing, but that doesn't make it any less about a quote unquote right. We use right in a positive sense, but a right is just a neutral thing.
Rights don't exist without enforcement.
That's not
true.
Yeah,
they do. Rights exist without enforcement. You have it completely backwards.
No, rights cannot exist without enforcement. No, rights cannot exist without enforcement.
If you're born in a forest, what can you do? Therefore, you have a natural right of being able to do that.
Yeah,
the animal can take you out. Any person that runs across it can take you out.
Sure, you have that power. You have that right. That's what the country
what I'm
is
saying. So there is no right.
Right.
Again, without violence, a right doesn't exist.
Hold on,
get bogged down on rights.
No, but I need to be explained how absent violence a right exists.
Hold on, Imperius. So you're saying because someone has the right to delete you, that means you have no right? Imperius?
I think he stepped off for a second. Let me try to pick this up on his behalf. Do you guys suppose that might makes right or not?
Okay.
That what? No, I'm sorry. I didn't
Do you think that might makes right or no?
Exist without the enforcement. Exactly. If you have no, if you say you have a right, but have no way to enforce it, how does the right exist?
I was picking up a different side of this, but all I was saying is that
to actually determine. If you have no strength to determine the law doesn't matter. And so only through might can you actually have rights.
Rights only exist if you have someone enforcing them.
Yeah, I look. I don't disagree with that. That makes sense. I don't disagree with that. Imperious, thank you.
If I have the right to speak, but anyone can go over and blow me away anytime they want, there's no one protecting me from that. Do I have a right?
Yes.
You have a natural right. Yes.
Yes, you still have a right to do it.
No, you don't. Jesus
right.
Christ, you guys are not getting it.
No, you don't. You have a choice to do something. You have a choice to do something. No, you have a choice to do something. A right is conduct that is protected.
Listen,
A
without
right
the police
is conduct
have
that is
guns,
protected.
if the police didn't have guns, every law is merely a suggestion.
Exactly. If there were no police, if there were no police in court, how would you enforce a right?
Okay, hold on. You are talking about two different things. No, absolutely. If police don't have guns or whatever you want to try to make it seem like to be, I absolutely have the right to say it. So meaning that you, whoever the other person is, do not have a right to just delete me because I said, but if he chooses to do so, then he got to face whatever consequences going to have to come to him if he do choose to do such a thing. But I absolutely still have the right to say it, meaning that me having the right to say it means I won't get arrested by my government if I say it. Now, if some strange man walking down the street don't like what I said and he chooses his right to do whatever he want to do, that is a completely different conversation.
A right is a permissible, proactive activity. A right is something you can proactively do and is protected from repercussion.
No, you don't need No. If you are alone,
choice is something else. A choice is something else.
Let somebody answer. Go ahead, AR.
If you are alone in the forest, you have all the rights in the world. You can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want insofar as nature is not stopping you. So you have that right to do whatever you want. If you want to off yourself, you can do that. You have your right. You have the right to do that. If you want to build a fort, you have the right to do that. If you don't want shelter, you have the right to not have shelter. If you want to jump inside of it, if you want to jump into the ocean, you have the right to do that. That's just something natural.
No, I will.
And what you're talking about is rights in the context of a civilization and a social construct.
A right is a power.
Rights only matter in civilization.
No, they don't. They matter outside of civilization too.
Possessing something to be treated in a certain way, usually based on legal, societal, or ethical principles. What you're talking about is a choice. I have a choice to build a house.
You have the right.
I have a choice.
It's really about
to kill
power.
Somebody.
You have the power to do it. You have, and then you have a natural right, which is something you can do without being stopped. That's essentially what a natural right is.
Right. So, because what AR is trying to get you to understand, if you own land, you have entitlement to that land to build what you want. So
no, you don't. You don't have ultimate rights to your property.
Hold on. You absolutely do.
You do not.
You think you have ultimate right to real property?
Just real quick, why are we on this deep topic, philosophical topic about
right?
These
right.
rights,
you have
rather than just what we were
people aren't
talking
entitled to anything.
But why are we talking about
people aren't entitled to anything. They're not entitled to freedom, happiness, or anything.
Hold on. Hold on. What are you talking about, Pierce? You talking about on what? I don't know. You talking about on some philosophy type of situation?
No,
political philosophy, bro.
Imperius came back in on the conversation, but he picked up on where he left off when he first got off.
No,
Abrego Garcia.
No,
hold on. Let him finish. Hold on, Imperius.
Because we were talking about DC, and you came in and talked about 2A, something in Missouri, and then the rights of people and how they're going about protesting for illegal immigrants. Like that's what you left off on, illegal immigrants. We were talking about Abrego Garcia when you left off. You got back on and you went right back to that connotation of verbiage. But we were talking about
you were talking about sanctuary jurisdictions when I got back.
No, we weren't.
I gave you
we were not talking about sanctuary jurisdiction.
You were talking about sanctuary jurisdictions and rights. That's what I came into.
No, we were talking about security versus freedom, and we were talking about
That's
the
right.
balancing
That's
act of
right.
liberty.
That's right.
That had nothing to do with sanctuary cities.
Rights are safe.
Sanctuary cities,
Rights are the balance between security and freedom.
We understand that. Nobody was talking about sanctuary cities. That's what we're talking. Nobody was talking about
It was
that.
giving you an example that's pertinent this moment.
But
About about the balance of rights and freedoms compared to enforcement.
Okay, so the enforcement of, put that in context.
It goes down to the fact is, do you believe that people have a right to anything and why?
How does that go into the context of the National Guard? That's what we're referring to.
Because if they have no rights, the National Guard can blow them away anytime they want.
It doesn't matter whether your personal opinion, whether your philosophical view is that nobody has actual rights and whatever. It's the fact that the United States
absolutely does.
It's irrelevant.
Would you like to read the jurisprudence from judges that started that?
Imperious. I don't want to have to start muting you. You gotta let the person finish, and then you can rebuttal, please. Go ahead, AR.
Two things. You hold, you claim to be an attorney or whatever. So you hold stare decisis to some standard that I just don't. I really don't care.
No, I don't.
Decisis. Okay, well, it sounds like you do, because you just said, do I want to read about the jurisprudence from judges? And I don't care about them. For one. For two, yes, the rights are enshrined in the Constitution. They were enshrined in the Declaration of Independence. They have been part of this country since prior to the country being founded. It's been a fabric of the culture in this society on this land. So whether you agree or disagree with it is irrelevant, because those rights still exist. They're enshrined for a reason. Now, if you want to debate about whether certain rights should be in the Constitution, whether they're being upheld the way they should, whether lower courts or the states, cities, whatever, are violating those rights, and what standards they should be held to, and all that other stuff, that's a separate discussion. The rights still exist by the Constitution and by the history of this country. I don't care what a judge has to say or what your personal philosophy is.
Okay, can I respond? It doesn't matter. My personal philosophy means nothing. Jurisprudence and why I care about stare decisis is only because at the moment it is the law. If the Supreme Court wants to change it anytime it wants, it has the power to do that. Power doesn't ask permission. Number one. Number two, my philosophical opinion means nothing. Read the founders' philosophical opinion, because that's what the Constitution was based off of. So again, you can say that there are rights. Rights don't exist. Rights are an abstract that can be taken from you at any time. If tomorrow the representatives of this country want to put you back in chains, they can do that. That means you have no right to freedom, sir.
I knew this before, but today is a perfect example. Especially a lot of us having broad conversations. We are not well versed in political theory. Niggas have a lot of feelings.
You guys are not smart. Like this is one chip shot for me.
Hold on, Appearance. You've been doing good. Yeah. Just allow.
All right, I'll be back.
What you just said about being able to be put in chains and all that extra bullshit, that goes into the social construct. Anytime you enter a civilization, you enter into a social construct.
The Constitution is a social construct.
Sure.
It's built off the Declaration of the Rights of Man, correct?
Okay. Whatever you want to say. The point being,
was it built off that or no?
Hold on, Imperious. At the same time, people need to hear both sides. It ain't just about you just berating. Just let the other person speak, please. Go ahead, AR.
Whether you want to say that, it's irrelevant, because at the end of the day, those rights right now are still in the Constitution. So you can say, oh well, tomorrow they can get rid of them or whatever else you want to say. Well, they haven't been getting rid of. They're still in the Constitution. And so therefore, we should expect our political leaders and our judges to uphold and respect those rights, not go against them just because they personally don't feel like they should exist.
I like it. You want to respond to that?
And that goes for the birthright citizenship clause as well as everything else. And
also, I want to shout out to a random independent with the big old 20 ball. He says, "Welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back."
About to be a situation.
Thank you so much for being so generous. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Sir. Yes, sir.
So, Paris, you want to? Maybe he's not there right now. Go ahead, sir. I know you want to jump in on this part of the topic as well, if you're there.
Yeah, I'm still making my original comment. Hold on one second.
Does anybody know what his original comment was?
No, not a lot of people are really well versed in political theory and political science. So dudes have a lot of assumptions and a lot of opinions, but they're not grounded on anything constitutional, any set of jurisprudence. Like a lot of people haven't even been ideas.
Your mic breaking up, bro.
Yo, Mr. How do you have such a shitty
Nah, yeah, I was
connection
getting a
every time
phone
you're
call right when I was trying to say that.
on
It's my headset, I think. I gotta get a better headset.
here? Yeah, man, you do.
Yes, you do. But you finished saying your point? Because you didn't get to nothing yet.
Yeah, like I was saying, people don't really have facts, bro. A lot of people, I'm hearing from you guys, you have ideas about how things should work, but no facts about how they actually came to be. So there's no understanding about why things are
Can
the
you
way
give
they
an
are
example?
right now. But along, well, Imperious just dog walked all of y'all, and I'm not gonna try to top that.
Okay, but can you give an example of what we said that wasn't based in fact? Like just a specific example. Because maybe we didn't speak properly, and we can elaborate.
Where do your rights come from? Where do your rights come from?
Philosophical debate.
No, men with guns.
There's natural rights. Okay.
No.
There's natural rights.
Might is the only thing that can possibly make right. What else can make right aside from might? As children, we grew up because all our teachers were liberals, and all our teachers told us that might doesn't make right. But what else can possibly make right, bro? Everything that you are protected by is the rule of force. I mean, the force of law. Law is backed up by guns. Power is everything.
Okay, conservative. How many philosophical videos how many philosophical schools of thought do you know about?
Let's just say 0 for the sake of argument.
Okay, so if you don't know about any, then how would you know if there's a counter argument that's even better than what you believe already that might make you right?
That would be the time for you to offer a counter argument instead of pretending you're smart.
I'm not pretending anything. I'm asking you a question because you're sitting here telling us that might makes right and you're right about that, and we're not speaking facts and we're only speaking ideas as if you are an expert on philosophy.
Offer the counterpoint. Prove me wrong.
I'm not a philosophy guy, so I'm not going to offer.
Prove me wrong? Are you able to?
I'm not a philosophy guy, so I have my opinion and you have yours, and that's the point. Is that we're both offering our opinions, and you're sitting here acting like yours is a fact. And what I'm saying is that this is my opinion. That's
with all of your mental acuity, can you prove me wrong?
That's my point. Is that
it's not in your brain. You do not have the ability to prove me wrong. It seems that
nobody understands what I'm saying except you.
Right. So, sir, you realize that you are not proving how we don't have rights.
I never said that. Nobody said that. The entire point is the nature of rights and where do they come from. Your rights would not exist if men with guns weren't willing to kill for you.
Right, but you can't prove that. That's the problem.
I have proven it. Every war America has fought proving it. The Second Amendment proves it.
Why does a club or a bar have bouncers? Why does a club or a bar have bouncers?
You guys?
Hold on. I do not want bullshit ass conflations about bouncers.
No, Imperious, you got it.
Hold on. I
want to hear. Look at the only why does international trade exist?
Hold on.
He said I got it. He said I got it.
Hold on. He said he ain't running the show. So hold on. What I'm saying is this: don't bring up no bounces in the club. I don't want to hear about no 7-foot dude playing football. I don't want to hear none bullshit. How in the world human beings do not have rights? Please explain that.
Because rights
and real quick, Imperious,
it's not tangible. It doesn't exist.
Imperious, real quick before you start, conservative. Please don't fall behind. Don't try to hide behind Imperious because he can elaborate better than you or say it in better ways that you can. Don't hide behind him talking about, Imperious is bad. He can have it. We want you to elaborate because you're calling us stupid.
You had your chance and you punted because you're retarded.
We know Imperious can talk.
Because you're retarded. You had your chance. Shut up.
Can we just duel as men and not insult each other? That's all. Come on, man. Come on.
I think we're doing fine. Let's proceed. Look, a right is not tangible. It's an abstract. You can't point to a right. Okay?
I have the right to live.
A right is an action. It is an abstract. The right to speak. You can't point to speech. I can't point it in the air. No, it's an action that you do. Okay? And so it's an abstract. That means human beings innately don't have it. They came up with it. They created it.
No, just Because you find something that exists already doesn't mean you create it. Gravity
Sir, what?
existed. Gravity exists whether
Gravity's not a
humans
right.
define it or not.
Hold on, let him
Gravity's
answer.
not
It's
a
the
right.
point.
Hold on,
It's
Imperious.
the
Yeah,
point
he's
that
talking about
it's the point.
equivalency and he's talking about gravity. Are you going to lecture him?
Imperious. Just because you heard something that you can argue doesn't mean that you need to jump in right away. Let him finish, and then
But
you
he just brought up a gravity parallel.
It doesn't matter. Let him finish, and then rebuttal. So this way, everybody can hear. It's not just about you. So let the other person finish, so we can actually hear both sides of the argument. Go ahead, AR.
The point being is gravity exists whether humans acknowledge it there as being there or not. You saying that humans made rights, they identify the rights, therefore rights didn't exist until humans identified them. It's a chicken before the egg situation, which is why when Conservative was yapping, I was asking him to talk about other schools of thoughts, because there's going to be any, just like anything, any other type of political theory, philosophical theory, any other just soft science like that. You're always going to have multiple schools of thoughts, and a lot of them are going to be competing that are, they have strong arguments one way, strong arguments another. So what you're saying is basically putting the chicken before the egg or vice versa. Conservative can't elaborate on that, which is why I wanted him to, instead of hiding behind you.
One, are you going to lecture him because he brought up a completely irrelevant parallel that means what did gravity have to do with anything? Are you going to be consistent? Number one,
I just told you what it had to do
so
with what
I
you said.
explained what a bouncer is. It means force. Every situation needs force to enforce anything. So I got lectured about bringing a direct corollary that you have bouncers in a club because without those bouncers there, you have no rights in the club. Anyone can do anything they want to you.
Yes, they have that right. Yes, they have that right.
That's not a right.
It is a
right.
right.
A right is an abstract.
Okay.
You can't point to a right. Gravity is not a right.
You don't have to point to anything.
Yeah, you do. A right has to exist for it to be non-abstract.
Okay, so hold on.
Something exists even if it's abstract.
What is
that? No, it doesn't. That's the point of an abstract.
Hold on. So here's the problem, Imperious. We have human rights, we have constitutional rights, we have legal rights, we have ethical and moral rights. The problem is that you are trying to lump everything up as one situation. It's just not that. It's different.
All of those things are abstracts. Every one of them.
Hold on. So a legal right is not an abstract.
Yes, it is. You can't point to it. It's created. It's a mental exercise.
Okay.
It is a mental. A right by definition cannot be taken.
That's fine. So we also have a universal right as well.
That's an abstract. What is a universe? Do all people agree on it? No. Abstract.
He basically saying you only have the right to shit and blink.
You don't even have the right to that. That's a fucking unconscious thought. That's unconscious activity. It's not a right.
Well, taking a dump is an unconscious thought.
It's not.
Breathing is it's unconscious. You're not thinking about it.
But he said taking a dump.
That's a fact.
This isn't hard, guys. You can't point to a right. That's why it had to be defined. That's why you have to have the Bill of Rights.
Can you point to gravity?
If they were self-evident and there, you wouldn't have to define them.
Okay, hold on.
You would have to.
Okay, regardless of it being abstract, meaning that it's just an idea, right? So this is your main argument. That is some kind of idea, and you cannot physically pick up a right. That's your whole argument. Cool, that's fair. But regardless of it not being something physically that I could pick up, it doesn't mean that it's not real. That's the issue that we have with you.
That's a completely different question of what is real. What do you define real as?
Okay, that's fine. What I'm saying is that your argument is about it's not concrete, right? Your whole situation is that the rights is an idea that we all agree to.
It is a human-defined concept that without humans killing each other to enforce doesn't exist.
Right, fine. Regardless, right. Regardless of all of that BS that you just said, it still exists.
Point to the right of free speech.
Right. So regardless that is not a concrete thing that I could hold tangibly, it is still a right.
How can something be a right if it can be taken?
Because you were entered into a social construct when you entered into civilization.
So it comes down to violence. If someone has more violence, they can take it. Thank you.
Yes, it's their right. Yes, they have that right.
No,
They
that's
have
not
that
a
power.
right. That's a cause and consequence.
Just because you can have something taken doesn't make it any less of a right.
A right is something that is legally, socially, and ethically protected, imposed, and propagated.
Social
Hold
construct.
on, hold on.
No, again, yes.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
a social construct is an
I meant
abstract. Yes.
contract. I meant no. I meant contract.
Hold on. Again, if something happens to you, that doesn't mean somebody took your right away. They took your life, but they didn't take your right. You still, even while you are passing away, blood is flowing out your body, and you're about to go to the upper room, you still have a right.
Okay, point to the right to live.
Can you point to gravity? Why are you?
I can point to gravity. What are you talking about? I can run electrons to show you gravity.
You can't. No, that's not
Well,
gravity. You can point to.
You can measure gravity. Can you measure a right?
Hold on.
Exactly. You can point to the consequences of gravity.
Hold on, Imperious. You cannot get past the fact that you cannot physically. That is not concrete. We already got past.
It means it's an abstract. It means it doesn't exist.
Okay, so that's fine. We got past that. It is an idea. We all understand.
Okay, so then it's whatever we feel like making it.
Please just let me finish the statement. Thank you. So, okay, it's an idea. Regardless of it's an idea or not, doesn't mean that rights do not exist, is what we're trying to tell you. But for some reason, you keep homing in on the fact that you can't pick it up. Nobody gives a F that you can pick it up or not. It exists because we all agreed on it.
If I make something up in my mind, does it exist?
He just said because we all agreed on it. Again,
you know what? Can I ask something real quick?
Hold on. Let me answer it. If we all do not agree with it, then no. The problem is the rights that we are talking about, we all agree.
Who agrees on all these rights?
Humans.
That was my point in the beginning. Nobody agrees on all these rights.
Humans.
So therefore, it don't exist.
Sharon, look. I've been talking about this on my channel for a while.
Human beings don't agree on your right to live, Sharon.
Look, Imperious, tell me if I'm wrong in this. Only European white liberals believe in the universality of rights. Only liberals think that shit. Everybody else in the world straight savage, bro.
Hold on.
Because they have a presupposition of a morality that they don't have.
Okay. The problem is y'all believe because somebody can fight you or arrest you, that means that you don't have a right. If a police officer violates my right to whatever the situation is, that's not my rights being taken away from me. That's my right being violated. So this way, I don't know why.
Sharon, if I travel 100 miles to Mexico, does that right disappear?
Hold on. The problem is y'all don't understand what true concepts are. Just because somebody did something to me doesn't mean they took my right away. Just because a police officer illegally arrests me without no due process, he just walks inside my house without no warrant and he locks me up, I still have my rights. That doesn't mean I don't have it anymore because somebody physically did something to me. So this is the part that you are missing. I don't know why you're missing it. It's very strange and weird to hear.
I don't think that's the major dispute.
No, it's strange to think that people all agree on a certain concept.
Oh my God.
Well, what I will say, that's life in general. So people agree to disagree. Great arguments on both sides. Can we push the narrative forward? Can we move forward with something? Because we're not going to get anywhere. Nobody's going to move off that topic. What I will say, if I was ever in a situation, I need anybody to argue for me. Hey, come up. Hey, just come on. Because y'all not moving off y'all points. So come argue for me. Because y'all are steadfast in y'all approach. And
when you're right, there's nowhere else to go.
But I don't think we're going to get anywhere because we're saying the same thing.
This is a philosophical self-introspection of understanding.
Yeah. This is a philosophical.
You don't understand the concept of an abstract, and that's okay. Some people don't have the gray matter to understand an abstract.
Again, this is a philosophical debate.
Like some people don't have the gray matter in their brain to deal with.
Imperious thinks and conservative think that even though it's been debated for hundreds of years, that they have the conclusive answer and that they're going to tell us what this conclusive answer is. They've written no papers on this. They have no peer-reviewed research done themselves. They've done nothing. But they think, therefore, it is.
It's actually opposite.
Okay, show.
It's
all right, well,
opposite
send us the
because
link.
you guys are the ones saying you guys whatever you make
Send
up
us
is
the link
real.
to your peer review.
You're
Send us
saying
the-
whatever
no.
you make up is real. I'm countering that.
We're giving our opinion.
You're literally
What
saying
JR
that whatever you
JR
make up in
saying-
your mind is real.
Hold on, Imperious. I don't know why you're missing it. I think that you're just missing it on purpose. We already agree that rights are an idea that we all agree with.
And ideas don't exist. Ideas don't exist.
So that is not true.
They're an abstract. They are a series of neurological.
I need to just stop for a second. We understand that it physically don't exist. We understand that, but we are
okay. And how does it exist physically then? By people enforcing and killing for it.
Hold on. The problem is that we already moved past that. It's not physically existing. We understand that. Nobody is denying that part, but it doesn't mean that the thing is not real.
Our culture
doesn't mean, and I don't want to hear no dumbass question about what is real. Because that's a stupid question.
Look, you can't put a thought in a petri dish and study it, but our cultures come from what was in the human mind. They become something, even though they're not physical. It's still a noun. It's still a noun. It exists.
It exists. So
again, it doesn't exist. Even Sharon, by your own measurement, you said because people agree on it. Most people don't agree on anything, Sharon, so it doesn't exist.
That's great. We can. That's fine. We can say that. We can go with Imperial. Like to move it forward, we can go with Imperious's bullshit argument and just say
I can lead you. I can dog walk if you want to. If you want me to finish, I can do it for you.
We want you to write a paper. We want you to write a peer-reviewed paper instead of talking to us. Since you are so educated, write a peer-reviewed paper.
Many of that. I'm in law review articles.
Okay,
I'm in law review
articles. That's not that law review article. We're talking about philosophy. And you're over here talking about law review articles. Get it.
You said publishing a peer-reviewed article. That's a peer-reviewed article.
A peer-reviewed based around philosophy. But anyway, we can go with his goofy.
Law
and
is
send us
philosophy.
those papers, by the way. You say you
what
have
do you
a law
think
review.
law is based off of?
You wrote for the Law Review Journal. Send us the link.
Law
so we
is
can read your
philosophy,
papers.
sir.
That's great.
Law
Send us
is
the
philosophy.
link. Send us the link so we can read the papers.
Law is
So-
philosophy.
Okay,
You can sidestep all you want. Send us the link.
I think Imperial just cannot get over the fact that we understood what abstract means. Like everybody understands what
we don't have to.
No,
we
you
don't have to
genuinely
go
don't
down
because
that
you
route
still
and
think
you're
an
getting
idea
us started
exists.
again. For what? Why
You
did
think
you
an
get us started
idea
on that
exists,
shit
so you
again?
don't
Just who cares
comprehend
about
that.
it? Who cares? We
Right,
can move
It
past it.
only exists when people kill to enforce it.
Okay, so that's not
the only time it exists.
so it's not true. It's just not true. So that
It
means
only exists if people manifest
we heard you
it.
the first time. You don't gotta keep repeating it. So that means love don't exist.
Exactly.
Sharon, why are you
That's
getting
why
started
you
on
have
this shit
something
again?
called postpartum depression.
Come on, man. Don't do it, Sharon.
Why you get them on that shit again?
It ain't going
At the end of
nowhere.
the day, you can say that, oh, it's only a social construct. That's fine. It's still in the Constitution. So it doesn't matter whether it's a social construct or not. It's in the Constitution. And you don't just get to say, oh, it's in the Constitution. I don't care. I'm gonna violate those rights, or I'm gonna ignore those rights.
Yeah.
And
There's a process if you want to amend the Constitution.
Now that I think about it, AR, wasn't the Constitution wrote on a piece of paper?
Yeah, 100% was.
So therefore it exists.
To me, I find it ironic.
That's the point. Is that we agree that these rights exist because we have not changed them. You saying, "Oh, I don't agree with them, therefore I'm going to violate them," doesn't change the fact that we as a society in the United States agree that these rights exist. Until you amend the Constitution, they still exist. Based on the U.S. Constitution is the law of the land, is the supreme law of the land. If something is in there, it trumps everything else. It trumps your individual thought. It trumps the 40% of America's thoughts. It trumps everything until that amendment is entered into the Constitution. That right still exists.
Yeah, I find it odd that we just all the back and forth in the discourse when he's saying that, well, there's no rights. You literally have something called the Bill of Rights. So if there's not rights, then why is it called the Bill of Rights? So
and
there's rights.
And it's physical too.
Yeah. Now, philosophically, people may differ on what they mean. I mean, it's written on a piece of paper, but you can interpret things the way you want to interpret them. But it's literally called the Bill of Rights. So you can't say that, no, you don't have rights. Yes, you do. I have a right to bear arms, but that doesn't give me the right to go out and delete someone.
Right.
But I can bear that arm. But yeah, there's consequences if I decide to use that arm in an incorrect way.
Right.
So that's why I was just like, man, the conversation is not going to go anywhere because he's not even recognizing the point that rights exist. So it's not going to go anywhere.
What gives America? What gives America the right to bomb some other country because they have bad human rights, because they did mean things to other people? What gives us the right to go bomb some other people?
So I think the problem is that you thrown in right in that situation, right? And it doesn't actually have a correlation to what we are talking about.
What are human rights? No, we're talking about rights. Are human rights not a thing? America doesn't bomb countries for human rights abuses?
So what I'm trying to explain to you, when you are saying that you're using the word incorrectly, you're not using it in the same sentence as how we was just using that we have rights as humans. When whoever in the military decides to go ahead and invade a country, they decided to go ahead and do it, and the other country decides to fight back. That is it. It ain't that who gave them the right to do it. They did something, the other country did something back, and that is it. It doesn't negate rights just because somebody did something to violate it.
Again, if you don't understand where rights come from, you don't understand the concept of rights, bro.
Okay, so hold on. So let me just make sure I'm clear. So if a police officer was to walk inside my house without a warrant or anything and arrest me, does that mean I have no rights?
No, you keep bringing this up. That's not the point. Your rights only matter because America is a strong country.
The question, because what you're saying,
it's a nonsensical question. I don't know why you keep asking questions that don't matter, bro.
The reason why is because you saying just because somebody do something means that you don't have rights anymore, and that doesn't make sense.
And who enforces those rights? If a police does something to you, who enforces those rights? How do they enforce those rights? What do they do? What is that process?
So now let's move to that. So now, regardless if I enforce it or not, does my rights exist still? Yes or no?
You can't enforce them. You can't enforce your own rights. So who does that for you?
Hold on. I understand the enforce part, but regardless if I can enforce it or not, do I not have the rights?
They don't belong to you.
Okay, I need you to answer the question. Regardless if I can enforce it, personally, if I can enforce it or not, do I not have the rights?
Theoretically, no. It belongs to the government.
Now, this is where we know you are not having an honest conversation. Because it doesn't matter if I can enforce it or not, I still have the right to live. Regardless if somebody was to take
says who? You? You ain't nobody though.
No, because y'all talking about y'all got all this goddamn philosophy. Then all of a sudden, when I pin you in the corner to answer a question, you get dumb. So regardless if somebody takes that man's life or not, doesn't mean that he didn't have a right to live. Literally. This is insane.
And who gave him that right? Did he give it to himself?
Hold on, but I need you to answer the question before we move on to who gave it to who. Regardless of who gave it to who, just because the person cannot enforce it, does that mean the person does not have a right? Yes or no? Come on.
Yes, that's the whole point we're trying to explain to you. You're having a hard time with it. That's why we're trying to say they're not actually real the way you think they are.
Right, and then so you just don't understand, and that's fine. It's okay.
Do you have human rights in China?
Yes.
You have whatever the Chinese government tells you to have. What do you mean?
Right, you saying that, but I got a family member that's living there right now. I just sent my daughter there, so you don't know what you're talking about.
And so if the Chinese government decided to put her in a metal box, what's going to stop them from doing that?
You still don't understand that just because someone's right is violated doesn't mean the right doesn't exist.
Right. It's like, I don't understand how they don't understand that. That is crazy to me.
Because again,
your rights are a theoretical construct. They're not really real.
Again, there's philosophical schools of thought that say nothing is real. There's nothing real.
Well, let me put it this way. Your rights as an American stop at these borders. And they're only guaranteed by this flag.
They don't stop at this border.
Again, your rights stop at this border. If you go
No, they
to
don't.
another country and then your quote rights get violated, America with guns and the Navy will have to speak up for you.
So okay,
You
regardless.
you mean
Hold on,
nothing. You
hold
mean
on,
nothing in the grand scheme of things.
hold on. Hold on. This is wild. I cannot believe people would be this stubborn and not be honest. Like, what is so difficult about being honest? This is a very weird thing to me. I thought we was in a space where honesty was the truth, and that was it. We don't deal with nothing else but the truth. And then when we come for truthful things, and we understand that whether you can enforce it or not, we know for a fact whether you enforce it or not, you still have rights. Whether you could protect your life or not, you still have a life. This is insanity that we are men that cannot deal in honesty and truthfulness. If I go to China, somebody cannot just kill me and put me in jail for no reason. If they do it, they are violating my rights. It doesn't mean just because they succeeded at it that all of a sudden I didn't have rights. That's not what it means. This means somebody broke the law. What the hell? I mean, just like you have the right to be stupid, no matter how much I tried to unstupefy you. You have a right to do it still. You have the right to be not honest. You don't have to be honest. It's okay. You have that right. No matter how much you are lying or not telling the truth, or I'm lying and I'm not telling, I have the right to do it.
You have the right to be a fake conservative.
You have the right to call yourself a conservative, even though you ain't married a woman that you are with. But you're still a conservative. I don't know what you're conserving. It ain't the truth. It can't be. It's not possible. Even though majority of the words that we say don't exist in real life, we act like now all of a sudden things don't exist. Fuck you talking about? Black Panther exists. I don't give a damn. This is wild. And I don't understand for the life of me why so many men want to just deal in fallacies on purpose. It's okay, man. Like, it's okay. It's all right that Sharon is correct sometimes. It's okay that Sharon is wrong sometimes. It's all good. We cannot grow as people. We do not concede to say, hey, you know what? I didn't think of it that way. But you don't have to lie and say that we don't have rights, right? Just because somebody can't enforce it. That don't have nothing to do with having it at all. It's crazy. Especially when I come up with a perfect scenario, you still want to try to deny it? That's crazy to me. Just say, you know what, Sharon, I didn't know you was that goddamn smart. Now I understand why all the goddamn ladies love you, goddamn it. Shit.
You don't get the fuck out of here.
Reese, all you gotta say is like, God damn it, Sharon, you're good looking, you're smart, got all your teeth, you can speak well.
Shit.
Speak well. Well, maybe now he cooled down.
Again. So if everybody tomorrow becomes stupid, let's say get a solar flare and everyone no longer has conscious thoughts, do you still have rights?
All right.
No.
I gotta head out. I appreciate
No,
y'all.
so answer the question.
Are you talking to me?
If it only exists in the mind, if we get hit with a solar flare tomorrow and every human being becomes mentally vegetabilized, does rights exist?
No.
Yes.
we're fucked.
How do they exist if there's no human to have a concept of them?
You won't even be able to conceive it.
Because gravity still exists even if humans don't have a concept of it.
But gravity isn't a human invented concept. Gravity isn't a human invented concept.
Yeah, that's the point. That's the point of the debate of the philosophical.
Exactly, humans invented, so it doesn't exist, sir.
Some would say it's invented by humans. Others would say it's a natural right that is
created in a human mind, sir. It's immeasurable.
Hold on.
So anyway, I gotta go. So I appreciate y'all having me. Y'all have a good night.
Hey, y'all, thank you. I really appreciate you. Thank you again. Thank you so much.
Y'all have a good night.
Yo, so so you're saying before when it had no laws, it was people didn't have rights to live.
Sir, in feudal Japan, you existed as a flower to the emperor's garden. You had no rights. You existed to die.
Yes.
No, you had no rights. No, you have no rights.
You're insane.
No, sir. It's just you don't have the gray matter to understand abstract.
No,
gray matter is the intelligence lobe of your brain.
No, you don't understand.
No. I do comprehend it because I can understand that an abstract thought, without it being manifested into reality by humans' force, does not exist.
Hold on. So the problem is that you are trying to compare the rights of today with some.
I'm comparing a concept of a right.
Damn. What you're trying to compare is the rights of today with some Japan emperor. Those are two different eras.
So they change. So they're not consistent. So they change. There are no rights. It's all relative.
No, it's not.
So why didn't back then they don't believe in shit compared to what we believe in now? Did those rights not exist? Are they right? Are ours right now? Who's right?
The reason why is because we got smarter as human beings.
Who's right, Sharon? Back then or now?
Hold on, I'm just explaining to you, but for some reason, you just don't want to understand. I don't understand why, but we got smarter as human beings. That's why.
Why is that wrong and who cares? Humans don't have a right to live, sir. They don't have a right to exist. You're presupposing they do.
Hold on, please stop moving the goalposts for no reason. This is insane. You're not smart enough.
You're giving a moral prescription.
Hold on, you're not smart enough to keep moving the goalposts on me.
No, sir, you don't have gray matter. I'm so far beyond you on this argument.
That's fine that you believe that, but
it's not far. It's not me. Other channels watching it are laughing, dude.
Hold on. The problem is you
like philosophy channels are watching laughing, dude.
The problem is that you are not smart enough to understand.
Sir, I'm so far beyond you. You're trying to catch up with your pride. Because you don't even understand what an abstract is. Define an abstract.
I already did.
Define it. No, you didn't. Define it.
It is something that is existing in thought.
No.
Then you don't fucking know what an abstract is.
I do know what an abstract is.
Oh, please give me the definition, you dumb
person. It is a human perceived measurement of an activity.
No, it's not. It is absolutely
yes,
not.
it is.
Okay, you know what? We could just end. I could just Google it. That's all.
Go ahead.
Because this is crazy.
It's so good that you're back, Sharon.
Kiss my ass, Lou. You like to see me stressed.
Oh man.
It is something that has no concrete existence.
Hold on.
It is something that has no concrete existence.
Hold on. Let me share the screen. Let me find it. Hold on. Let me prove what is what. I'm tired of people thinking that they so smart. Okay, abstract, existing in thought, or as an idea, but not having physical or concrete existence.
Exactly. It has no physical or concrete existence.
Hold on. Please don't say exactly when what you said was absolutely not that. I said that. I just
no, Sharon. No, you didn't, Sharon. You said it's a thought in.
I'm not. I'm not going to allow you to gaslight. This is crazy. It's literally not what you said. It didn't say nothing about a human at all. It's exactly what I said. It's something existing in thought. This is exactly what I said on Reese. Who was correct? No. Reese. We both gave definitions. Who was correct in a definition?
You were too.
Thank you. I don't know what's wrong with. I don't know why people cannot be honest. This is wild to me, bro. And I feel bad that I gotta correct these men and be their daddy every single day. And I had to use Google to show him that I know what I'm talking about, and he does not know what he's talking about, especially since he's a lawyer. And he went to school for all those years, and he's not smart enough to understand what he's even saying. He don't even know what abstract is, and he's using a word all willy-nilly. He don't understand that just because a police officer could violate my rights doesn't mean I don't have them.
That is actually exactly what that means. The only way that you would have a right, the only way that you wouldn't have a right after that, let's say the policeman does do that. If nobody comes to enforce behind the police, your right has been stripped away from you. You have no right at that point.
That is not true.
That is true.
It is absolutely
That
not
is
true.
a practical reality. I don't know how else it could be anything but that.
Like because when you talk about natural rights, right? You make it seem like natural rights are guarantees. They are not. They are simply moral claims. That's it.
So that's one.
So a right that you cannot enforce is literally not a right, because enforcement is the backbone of a right. What good is a right that can't be enforced?
So hold on, no, I don't know what literature that you ever read that says that enforcement is the backbone of a right, but that's just not true.
Enforcement is the backbone of our whole legal system, bro.
Hold on. So like it's a bunch of different. So it's just not true, right? So rights is ethical, is social, is legal, and that's what guarantees freedoms and entitlements to individual groups.
Right, based on what, and you said this before, based on.
What I'm saying has nothing to do with enforcement. They could be fundamental to all people, like the right to life, right? That is known as that right there. That one, the right to life. That one is known as a human right, and then it also got guaranteed by, and then it also has guaranteed by specific laws, such as constitutional rights, which we also spoke about as well, right? So I already gave you 3 different versions of rights. So rights provide standards for how people should be treated and what they are allowed to do. Right?
Correct. Go ahead.
We working together. All right. So now forming the basis of justice, frameworks, civilized society. These are all what rights it covers. It don't have nothing to do with enforcement. That's why it got human rights, constitutional, legal, ethical, moral. It's all these different rights. Universal rights. It got fundamental rights. It got inalienable rights. So all these things, none of those things have anything to do with enforcing. It doesn't. So y'all are wrong. It sounds good when these people lie, but it's wrong. I just proved that he didn't even understand the word abstract. And people will still say that I'm wrong, even though I pulled it up. It's okay for me to be right. I don't understand. It ain't me. I just want to let y'all know. This is not me being correct. This is just me giving the correct information. So maybe people will feel a little bit better of understanding what I'm saying. I'm just giving correct information. This is not Sharon being correct. I did not come up with these concepts. These concepts was here way before me, and they're going to be here way after me. Again, all I'm doing is giving correct information. That is it. So people will stop being in their goddamn panties all up in the butts because Sharon is fucking correct every time they hear me speak. I don't talk about.
You trying to get away from this idea that rights rely on force, bro. What is the right?
You feel me?
No, I understand what you're saying, and that's one part of it. The other part of it, the other side of that is that those rights that you just named out, that you laid out, are only as good as they are able to be enforced.
No, it's not.
So, okay, can a right be stripped away? Can a person take a right from somebody else?
No.
And see, that's where you lose me. Yeah,
it could violate your rights.
The government gives rights and takes them away. That is literally the purview of the
You cannot
government.
take
That's
away
the one thing that they
hold
do
on,
all day long.
hold on. You cannot take away constitutional rights. What are you talking about?
Yes, you can. Niggas
yes,
in
you
jail.
can, bro.
Niggas in
How?
jail every
How?
day, bro. What do you mean?
How? Okay,
It's
hold on.
literally written in the
Hold
Constitution.
on.
You can lose your
Hold on.
constitutional rights.
Okay, hold on. Let's be clear. How do you take away constitutional rights?
It's written in the Constitution, bro. If you violate the Constitution, you will be
I got
put in
bounced.
jail.
I got to bounce, Sharon. I'm going to holler at you.
Okay, I'm gonna ask the question again. How do they take? Thank you, Reese. How do they take away your constitutional right?
With due process, bro. It's actually a whole thing. It's called the law.
Do you understand that due process is a part of your rights?
So the same system that gives you rights can actually take them away. Isn't that interesting? Haven't I been trying to tell you that this whole time?
This cannot be real life. This cannot be for real. Like literally, nobody took your rights away. If you did a crime, you did a crime and you got to pay for that crime.
What's a crime?
You getting arrested for you getting arrested.
No, what's a crime, Sharon?
Hold on. If you get arrested for something, that doesn't mean that you don't have rights anymore. You still have to go through due process, which is an absolute right. This is the reason why they cannot just put you in jail and take your life, because you have rights. What the fuck is going on here? What the fuck?
Those rights get violated all the time, Sharon, and nobody comes in the back end to try to enforce the violation of those rights. Right, so even if it's a right is only as good as it is on paper and our ability to enforce it. Without it, it's just words on paper, bro.
Regardless of it just being words on paper, it means more than just words on paper. That's number one, right? And so regardless of it, however you want to look at it, and somebody even if somebody violates it, it doesn't mean that you didn't have it.
No, you absolutely had it. The key word there is had.
No, you still have it. Even when they violate it, it's still your right.
I'm just trying to, okay, what good is a right that you can't enforce, bro?
The good of it is that we all agree on it.
But we don't agree on it. That's why if we all agreed on it, it would be enforced.
You don't have to.
If something happens to you, there are a couple measures that are in place. Let's say you're out in public and you get attacked. There's a couple things that can happen, right? Number one, people can see what's going on and intervene, whether it be call the police, whether physically intervene, all this stuff, right? They could intervene on their behalf. If they decide not to do that, then the police can intervene on your behalf. I mean, it's after the fact, but there's still an intervention, right? If none of that stuff happens, then what?
It doesn't mean it doesn't mean you don't have your rights. That's what it means. I don't understand why this concept is so foreign. Just because somebody do something to take something away from it doesn't mean that you don't have it.
I think that you look at. I think that
somebody was to take my idea, right, and they run with it. Was it still not my idea?
Say that again.
If somebody was to take my idea and they was to do something with it, does that make it not my idea?
Well, technically, legally, it would be intellectual property. If you haven't claimed it as such, then no, it actually wouldn't be. it wouldn't be.
So you saying that if I come up with an idea of something and then somebody else does it, it ain't my idea no more?
No.
What?
No, bruh. Okay, it's okay. You know what? Now I'm pushing it. Okay, it's your idea. My response to that, I'll give you that. It's your idea. My response would be, so the fuck what? It was an idea that you did nothing with and somebody else did. You're not going to be able to come back around and say, hey, that was my idea. You would have to prove that that was your idea. And if you cannot prove that, then it don't mean shit. It means nothing. Oh, it was my idea. Nobody cares.
No, hold on. We're not talking about law, legal, and all that other bullshit. We're not.
Okay, even removing that aside, just because you come up with an idea.
All right, so okay, put it to you like this.
I'll move IP out the way and licensing and all that stuff.
I said,
go ahead.
I called people Rim Brothers. Is that not my idea?
For the sake of the, I'll have to say yes. I don't know where it came from, but
okay,
you definitely popularized the phrase. So go ahead.
Okay, so you never heard it before my show, that's for sure. So now somebody else takes it, runs with it, turns it into a movie. You mean to tell me that because they did that, that doesn't mean that it wasn't my idea?
No, it was your idea.
Thank you. So again, the same concept. This is why Imperius was stuck on that it is abstract. So just like an idea, rights is the same exact way. So you cannot, just because somebody took it, because they violated you and arrested you, doesn't mean you do not have rights. Just because somebody violated your rights.
That's a bad analogy, man. I get what you're saying, but that's not a proper analogy.
No way you could fight
you really thought you stuck the landing, didn't you? You really did, because that's not the same thing, man.
I got to side with Imperius. You're struggling with the abstract here, right? Because when he answered you at first, that was the first proper, correct answer. Okay, legally, you do not own it. Morally, fine, yeah, but now the space between morally and legally is where you're struggling in the abstract.
What?
Well, because morals and legality are two abstract positions inherently. Yeah, you're stuck on one abstract, which is morals. Free zone is giving you a more practical abstract, which is the law, because we don't base our dealings on morality, whatever that means. We base it on written law and legal code. And so your moral claim actually means nothing in the grand scheme of things.
Would you like me to read the definition of abstract?
This is not that. You're asking about intellectual property law, and I'm saying that your position is a moral abstract. Free zone's position is a legal abstract. The legal abstract is the actual power position here. Your morality doesn't hold any weight in the court.
Hold on. So no, I was trying to have a correlation so people can understand, right? Because people understand that you can't actually take somebody's idea. You could execute somebody's idea, but you can't actually take their idea because it was theirs, right? Same thing with the right.
Yeah.
You could violate the right, but it doesn't mean that I don't have it, is what I'm trying to explain to it. And clearly y'all don't understand what abstract means. This is why I pulled up the definition and proved that empirics do not understand what abstract means. And again, so I'll read it for you again. Just in case somebody that don't understand what abstract means, even though y'all keep trying to say I don't understand, and I'm using the definition to the T.
I'm not even using the word abstract, so go ahead.
Right,
go ahead.
I know he tried it right.
Yeah,
right,
I'm not trying to complicate that. Yeah, go ahead. No.
Yeah, existing in thought is what abstract means, or as an idea. This is why I brought up idea, because he said rights is an idea, right? He said it's abstract, right? This is what they said to me, right? Free zone. They told me rights is abstract, correct?
Correct.
And this is why I use idea to back up what I'm saying, because it's actually in the definition of the word abstract.
Okay.
You understand? You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, I completely understand what you're saying. I think we just.
That's why I try to correlate that you can't steal actually somebody's idea. You can execute the idea, but you cannot steal the person's idea because the idea was always theirs in the first place. So again, it's an idea, but not having a physical or concrete existence, just like an idea. An idea is not a physical or concrete existence unless you build a bike. You had a vision of a bike, it was an idea, and then you turned it into a physical existence. Right? Abstract concepts is something like love and beauty. That's why they say beauty is in the eye of the fucking beholder. It is abstract. I don't understand. And then they have an art version of abstract, which we are not talking about. Then the second line, it says dealing with ideas rather than events. So therefore, if your rights is an idea, you cannot take that right away from a human being just because you violate it. I don't know why I be cooking up so good, Free Zone.
I think that I just think that you're like I don't fully disagree. I think that but I think you're focusing on the small part of the pie, because most of even what you consider rights is backed by law. It's a legal thing. So if you don't have that legal backing to uphold those rights, then you do not have those rights.
That's not true.
It is true. If you get smoked and nobody does anything about it all the way up the chain, your right was taken from you.
No, it wasn't.
If the government doesn't support you, what is your evidence that you have rights?
Because they exist.
What is your evidence that they exist? No, bring evidence to your claim then. Bring evidence to your claim. Don't just rely on words. What is the evidence?
It's crazy that y'all was the one with the philosophy and y'all don't know how to actually judge philosophy. This is
called the Socratic method. What is your evidence?
Because for some reason you think because Nelson Mandela was in a prison that he was guilty.
What is if the government doesn't enforce your rights? What is your evidence that your rights actually exist?
Because of the Constitution.
That is the government. If the government doesn't enforce your rights, what is the evidence that the rights actually exist?
Because we all agree with what rights are. We
don't all agree with what rights are. We can't possibly.
We do because we put it on paper.
Oh, so the government again. We're back to the government.
Hey, I'm a
wrong, nigga.
Hold on.
Hey, I enjoyed it. I just want to. I got to drop. Yeah, I'm dropping. Because the food you got is popping, and I'm finna make me and the little one some food. I enjoyed the philosophical discussion, man. Hey, shout out to both of y'all. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to everybody, man. I'll holler at you, Sharon. I'll holler at your hood. Peace.
Yeah, I will say this. It's nice to not argue about hoes. I'm so ambidextrous.
So, Hood, regardless if the government give it to you or not, it's not the question. It's not.
That's the only question, and you want to ask all the other questions because you want to avoid that one question. That's the only question.
I'm not avoiding
if the government doesn't defend you. What's the evidence you have rights? I need that.
Because it's there. It exists.
How? Okay, so where? Can you point to it?
Okay, for some reason you believe that enforcing something and having something gotta run together.
I think you can only
it's not it ain't clicking for you. I don't know why.
You can only define a thing by its boundaries. And so enforcement is usually a sign of the boundaries of a particular thing. Like if somebody's enforcing a rule on you, it's because you went past a particular boundary. Without that boundary, what is the evidence that there is even a rule in place?
Okay, so if I kidnap you, leave you in my basement, that means you have no more rights?
Until I've been freed, yeah, I have no rights under your control.
That is insanity.
And look, when people get kidnapped, who do you expect to come? The government, the police, the army, the fire department. You expect somebody who's a representative of the United States government to come help you.
No. You're missing what I'm asking you. If I lock you up and just put you in chains, that does not take the fact that you have rights.
My rights are theoretical. You know what? You didn't believe in my rights when you locked me up, did you?
Yes, I did. That's why I changed you up, because I didn't want you to go ahead and.
So they didn't actually matter. They didn't actually matter, right?
Hold on. The reason why I changed you up because I didn't want you to execute your right to leave. I'm violating your rights. That doesn't mean hold on, please. That doesn't mean I took away your rights.
Well, if I don't have my rights, Who has them? I mean, clearly they got taken away from me, so they're not mine.
So that means
But
if I lock you, all right, so great. I'm glad you said that. So now I'll lock you up in a basement. That means I took your rights.
technically, yes, that's what that means.
You
That's
cannot
why
be
you
this.
would be sued. You would be sued, or not even sued, but you would be arrested for like rights violations,
You cannot be this silly.
civil rights violations, all that kind of shit. Yeah.
This is insane to me, Hood Serpent.
It is insane that you believe rights are a magical thing that exists because you say so.
No,
The niggas
I'm
really
going by.
have this because I say so problem
I'm
of
not going by
philosophy.
what. Hold on. I'm not going by what I believe. I'm going by the definition.
You are going
You
by what you believe because you believe
no,
without the government, your rights would exist somehow
because
miraculously in thin air.
right, because it does not say in the Constitution that they had to be enforced by the government for me to have a right.
Hold on. How are you trying to base rights on a constitution, but that constitution is literally the symbol of a government that is giving you the rights? Like your rights are coming from the constitution, which is the government that you
Right,
now defend on.
because that is one version of rights. It got constitutional rights. It also has human rights. It has natural rights. Like the natural right to live. No matter where you go in the world, you have a natural right to live.
You ever heard two Africans talking about human rights?
Hold on, please. Stop.
Have you? Have you?
Hold on.
Have you? Have you?
Hold on. We talking, right? And I just want to make sure we understand each other, right?
I do understand you. Have you ever heard Africans talking about human rights?
Hold on. I don't care about no African right now. So what I'm trying to get to you to understand is that it doesn't matter. I'm just using the Constitution as one version of rights because that is the one that we could easily discuss. But for some reason, you're making it difficult. I also named a bunch of other rights that we have as humans. We got legal rights. And just because I can't violate my legal rights, it doesn't mean I don't have them. It just means he violated.
Once he violated them, they were gone. They disappeared in that moment. That's kind of how it works.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's how rights work, bro. That's why you have to go to court to sue and get a grievance redressed and all that shit.
So therefore,
yes, the government owns your rights, bro, not you. The government is the arbiter, protector, and defender of your rights. Your rights don't reside within your physical body. Your rights reside within, I don't know, the Constitution or something like that.
I think y'all just like to argue.
No, I've actually looked into this stuff. This is solid political philosophy, bro. You just haven't really been exposed to political philosophy. Niggas just be doing nigga shit.
Yeah. Hood, I gave you definitions and you talking about.
You read the definition of abstract, and that has nothing to do with what we're talking about in this particular moment.
I also gave definition of different versions of rights.
Okay. Who is going to help you? Who enforces your human rights? Like you believe they exist without enforcement, and that's just a silly, non-workable idea, bro.
This is the last time I'm going to do it.
There is no right without enforcement.
I already told you that it is nothing in any. When you look up the words "what are rights" or something of that nature, I will guarantee that it is nothing that says you have to enforce it for it to exist.
Well, that's not in the definition. But again, adults who have. It's not, enforcement is not in the definition of a human right. I grant you that.
Okay, so
how does that change? How does that change the fact that it doesn't exist?
Hold on. I need you to say that one more time, please.
Yeah, enforcement is not in the definition. Does that satisfy you?
Thank you. Argument done.
No.
You are 100% wrong because
stop being like that, bro. Come on.
Hold on. Thank you for saying that. Now that we know that enforcing your rights has nothing to do with having rights, you are wrong.
This is like the tree falls and the forest thing,
that
bro.
means you are adding something to it. If you don't have to enforce your rights, that means you are adding to it. Thank you.
If the police don't actually prosecute a law, if the police don't punish a particular crime, is it still illegal?
Yes.
But why aren't the police punishing the crime then? You see, it doesn't matter what's written on paper. It actually matters what you can do. And that's kind of the practical deal we're having here. You can theoretically believe in your rights, but if America disappears tomorrow, everybody's going to get re-enslaved by next week. That's just the nature of how things are going to work. And the
So
idea that you somehow have rights that exist up in the air is just
I'm glad that
goofy.
you said that. I'm glad that you said that. So therefore, if I don't get caught doing a crime, therefore it is no, so I didn't commit the crime.
If you didn't get caught doing the crime, you didn't commit the crime.
Right.
Of course, you committed the crime. I don't know what you're getting at, but continue.
So you
A crime. Hold on. Is a crime? Is a crime? Listen, is a crime a fucking abstract? No, I'm not holding on. No, I'm not holding on. It's a crime in abstract. It's a real fucking thing. It's a real physical thing, not an
No, it's
abstract.
not physical. You cannot point to it. You cannot
What
physically touch
crime?
a crime.
So what crime did you break? Any crime that you break is a real thing. It's no longer abstract, bro. It's no longer an abstract.
Hold on. I got your ass in the corner.
What corner? Work it out. Work it out.
In the corner, hood.
Work it out. Work it out. What corner? How is a crime related to an abstract right?
Because if nobody is there to enforce, if nobody there can enforce the fact that I committed a crime,
You committed the crime.
therefore, according to your
You still committed the crime.
thank you, but nobody's there to enforce it.
Right. So the law doesn't exist, but your crime does exist.
Exactly.
You tried to change it to look good, but you totally fucked it up. The crime is the crime, but the law no longer exists because there's nobody there to enforce it. You're still a dirty criminal. You're still a thief. You're still a liar. You're still a murderer. But if nobody's there to enforce it, then the law is irrelevant.
So therefore,
You still are who you are, though. But this is a different conversation about rights versus a crime you actually commit.
I want to understand. So you're saying the only way law is the law is if you can enforce it. That's it.
Yes, your rights only matter if they can be enforced. Same thing.
So we done then. That's it.
So you agree with me that your rights don't matter unless you can enforce them, right?
This is point proven.
Because the law don't matter unless you enforce it, right?
You just said it. You just said it's still a crime. If I go ahead and delete somebody, it's still a crime whether I got caught or not.
And it's still, but do you still have that right whether or not it gets enforced? No, you don't.
Is it
Because the crime is not a right.
regardless?
The
Hold
crime
on.
is an act, bro. The crime is an act.
Is it a crime?
The right is a concept.
Regardless- Hold on. Let me please I just want to please understand this. If I commit the crime of deleting somebody, but I never got caught, nobody's there to enforce it, is it still a crime? Yes, it is. Thank you. Damn, I'm too good at this shit.
Laws only exist in civilization, bro. And in order to have civilization, we have things like laws, right? Now, if you're out in the woods and there's no civilization, then there's no crime. But if you're making an argument, that your rights somehow exist, I'm arguing that your rights are a product of civilization. And if you remove yourself from civilization, just like you removed yourself in your scenario, then there are no rights and there are no crimes.
That's not true.
Yeah, civilization and rights go hand in hand. You don't have rights in nature. What rights does the lion have over the lamb?
I have the right to live.
What right does the lion have over the lamb?
He doesn't. That's why the lamb can run. He has the right to run.
Oh, he has the right to get away. Well, there you go.
Right.
That's the only right you got. Run for your life. That's your right.
Exactly.
Run for your life. That's your
Right.
only God-given right. Run for your
Right.
life. Everything
Exactly.
else is a negotiation. Okay, we'll agree on that. You only have the right to run for your life. That's the only right you actually have.
Fine. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. Just because the other person executed doesn't mean that you didn't have the right to live. You still have the right to live, but the person just
No. That's not what we agreed on. No, we agreed that you don't have the right to live. You have the right to run. You don't have the right to live. That's why you're going to get eaten by the lion. What rights does the lion have over the lamb?
He doesn't have any.
Okay, then. So why does the lion eat the lamb?
Because he caught it.
And that's all you need to know.
But that doesn't mean the lamb doesn't have a right to live. This is crazy. Why are people so crazy? Why people can't be honest? I don't know. Maybe one day y'all could, like, you know, help me out and understand why I gotta whip so much ass. But just because somebody can violate your rights doesn't mean that you don't have them. It is just that simple. Just because somebody that dislikes me says I lost doesn't mean I actually lost. See, the thing is, the problem is that I don't really need validation for anybody when I literally put up the definition. Like I'm not arguing with you about your belief. I'm arguing about the definition. What abstract is. If rights is abstract, that means it's an idea. You cannot take an idea away from somebody. Just because somebody violated your right doesn't mean that you don't have it. This is the dumbest thing I ever heard. Somebody could violate your rights, but they can't take them away. If you don't understand that concept, I don't know, maybe you was on the short bus. Clearly, I'm dealing with short bus people. And this is the problem with public school. See, we don't realize the people that we are encountering when we older. See, like when we was younger, at least we know who was the short bus people because we see them get off the little short bus. But then when they graduate high school, we all part of the same world and we don't know who's on the short bus and who is not. And then the purist, he puts a definition here that doesn't have anything to do with the word. Disassociated from any specific instance. Like the bounds that y'all will go to. Hey, this is how I know I'm a goat. Yeah, Cody. You know how I know I got them? Because they willing to lie about a definition. That's crazy. They don't want to believe in the dictionary. They're like, yes, it doesn't say, literally, Hood Service said, yes, it doesn't say you have to enforce it, but I still want to enforce it. I mean, maybe this is why. Now I'm starting to understand. Maybe this is why y'all willing to give up your rights because y'all don't believe y'all deserve your own rights. I literally read the definition. The man literally agreed to say, he literally agreed and said, you do not have to enforce rights to have them. But y'all still saying that they were correct? It's literally in the definition. And it was a part of their argument, Ms. Cantrell. Their argument is that Nobody has rights unless you could enforce it. And I proved that you don't have to enforce your rights. You just have them. It's crazy to me. How can people go against a definition and act like they understand something? This is wild to me. Hold on, let me make it bigger. This is crazy. Can we read this? Exist abstract, existing in thought, or as an idea but not having a physical or concrete existence, dealing with ideas rather than events. So we dealing with an idea, the idea of a right. That means if in the event of somebody trying to take away in the event of the police doing something, that doesn't mean they took my right away, because it's not something physical. It's literally in the definition. I don't understand. I don't know why y'all want the government to take your rights away so badly. This is why y'all okay with DC, with them bringing in the National Guard and sending the National Guard to Chicago. Y'all don't believe y'all have rights, and y'all willing to take it away because you don't trust yourself. You don't trust yourself enough to live in society, so you want the government to tell you what to do. Miss Cantrell, you could hit the link. The link is pinned to the top. We can have a conversation about it. I have no problem. I believe every human being agrees with the right to live. What are you talking about? Every human being agrees with the right to live. Every human being believes that they have the right to live. Exactly. So our civil rights, did we take that by force? Or did we come up with ideas and have conversations to get it done? Right? We got civil rights as well, right? That's another version of rights. This is crazy to me. Good day, ADS.
What up, Sharon? You have the right to remain silent.
And look, that's a good one, ADS. So that means if I start talking, does that mean I don't have the right to remain silent?
You have foregone that right if you continue. I know that well because I've been in the back of a couple police cars, and some of those cars will actually tell you, shut up. Like, shut up. Okay, we know. We'll figure it out when we get to the station. And as I've matured, I have learned to appreciate that right to remain silent, because you should not be talking. You should be calling your lawyer.
Yo, I just think it's crazy that people think that your rights have to be enforced. This goes to show how easy it is to manipulate people. And I'm starting to realize that I'm just not a part of the majority crowd that just allow anybody to do anything to me for the sake of the betterment of something. No, my right is I could walk around the street. I don't give a damn.
Well, Sharon, some people need that type of guidance that's external, that support with billy clubs and bats and guns and shit to get them to act right. Other people already have that built into them internally, right? They like order. People who like order tend to follow the law. People who don't tend to do what they do.
I don't know, ADS. I don't know why people fight me so hard to have ownership. You feel me?
It just speaks, brother, to the level of intellect over here that you make it so challenging for them to beat you, right? You give them hell. You know what I'm saying? You might get a battle or two out of Sharon, but Sharon keeps fighting the war. He gets right back up, puts his gun on his lap, and keeps moving. It is what it is.
Yeah. But the weirdest part is that when after I gave you the definition, you still argue the definition. That's crazy. There's something else going on there once you argue the definition. It's nothing for like I can't really like have a conversation with you if you're not gonna concede to definitions. Because now what are we talking about? The man told me abstract is not an idea. How do I argue with somebody that don't know the definition of the word that they're using? How do I do that, ADS? It literally says existing in thought or as an idea. Literally have the word in it, or as an idea, but not having a physical or concrete existence. How can I argue with somebody that cannot agree with a definition? How is this possible?
Reality winning, right? Reality bending. So I don't know. You just let them bend reality. You sit back, relax, spin it, and at the end of it, say, okay, well, thank you again and have a nice day because this is your panel.
And the crazy part is actually people saying like, yeah, no, Sharon, you lost the argument. When I'm going by the definition, how can I lose the argument going by the definition?
Who cares? You boot their ass too. Everybody get booted.
But anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm finish my food, go to sleep because this is insanity. And listen,
welcome to the spinoff of Fight Club. This is a spinoff.
Hey, listen, all I know is I read the definition, and if you don't believe the definition,
don't get mad at me, nigga. I'm here telling the truth. If somebody else should have told you this.